Chapter 1241. Xiao Hong was startled. She had only casually praised him, but he had actually asked her what was good about him. Xiao Hong is an uncouth person. She only knows how to drink and not how to speak. If she speaks, then Yue is the master of tea. She kicked the ball to Sima Yue. Oh. Junwei shifted his gaze to Sima Yue. Yue knows how to taste tea too. I know a thing or two. Give it a try then. Sima Yue smelled the tea that Yu handed to her. She sniffed it gently and took a sip. She originally wanted to discuss this tea, but when the words reached her mouth, she changed it into a poem that she had heard before. The iron-colored wrinkled leather belt is filled with the beauty of poetry. The root of the tongue has not tasted the innocence, but the nose has already smelled the sacred fragrance. Xiao Hong and Master Jun didn't quite understand what Sima Yue said, but Yu understood what she meant. He was a knowledgeable fellow. Tiguanyin tea is very simple to brew. This cup of tea is also mellow and sweet. However, because the water temperature and brewing time are not enough, the taste of this tea is affected and the fragrance of this tea is not fully displayed. Junwei and Yu's expressions changed slightly, especially Yu. This tea was the best tea he had found in the mortal realm this time. It was even more delicious than the teas before. In order to brew its fragrance, he lived with those tea farmers for more than a year. He only left when he felt that he had brewed enough tea. But she said that she didn't do a good job. So you're saying that you're very good at making tea? Yu said faintly. It was hard to tell whether he was happy or angry, but it made the Jun family's head's heart skip a beat. A little. Sima Yue said. Since that's the case, why don't you brew a pot of tea for everyone? Sima Yue thought for a while and said, okay. Yu handed the tea set to her, but she declined. I prefer to use my own tea set. With a wave of her hand, a full set of tea sets appeared on the table. Then, she began to make tea. Yu saw that her tea set was not inferior to his own and knew that she was also a tea lover. The rudeness in his heart towards her just now disappeared by more than half. What he didn't know was that Yue didn't like tea at first. It was because Wu Lingyu liked it that she knew many ways to make tea. She would make tea for him from time to time, and that was how she slowly fell in love with tea. In the past, she preferred to drink. Boil the water, pick the tea, brew the tea, wash the cups, and finally soak the tea. After waiting for 10 seconds, pour the tea into small cups, and then use a pair of tweezers to place it in front of everyone. Please. She picked up a cup for herself and sniffed it. A satisfied smile appeared on her face. Yu's group of 4 had never seen such a brewing method before. Seeing that small cup of tea, they picked it up somewhat curiously. Yu sniffed lightly and said, the golden color of the eyes is like amber. It smells like a natural fragrance, but I don't know how it tastes. You'll know after tasting it. What's the difference between my tea and yours? Sima Yue drank the tea and was in a good mood. Yu didn't think that the tea she brewed would be better than the tea he brewed, although it did smell good. However, after he drank it, he immediately overturned his thoughts. For people like them who were well versed in tea, even if there was a slight difference, they would be able to taste it. Not to mention, this tea was obviously much better than the one he brewed. What kind of tea brewing method is this? Kung Fu tea. Sima Yue saw that he had finished drinking, so she used a pair of tweezers to pick up the cup and refilled it for him. Then, she handed it to him. She was already very beautiful, and her movements were so elegant. Her faint aura made him feel that drinking tea with her was a kind of enjoyment. Kung Fu tea. He picked up the teacup and looked at it. Then, he looked at her and said, can you teach me? This Kung Fu tea isn't difficult. I think you should be able to understand it after watching me perform it. Sima Yue said. But if there's a single mistake in this tea, it will ruin the entire cup of tea. I want to know how precise each step has to be. Yu said, Miss Yue, during this period of time, can I look for you to discuss the art of tea? Sima Yue was startled. They didn't seem to be familiar with each other. I'm sorry, Before she finished speaking, she felt Xiao Hong's pleading gaze. She immediately changed her words and said, since that's the case, Yue would also like to discuss it with young Master Jun. They stayed in the tea house for a while longer. When they saw Fatty Chu and the rest coming out of the shop, they said, Jun family head, my friends are out. We'll take our leave first. Xiao Hong looked at Mou with some reluctance and said, Jun family head, young Master Jun, we'll take our leave first. Take care, three ladies. Sima Yue and the rest came out of the private room. The smile on her face slowly faded. Bei Gong Tang looked at her and didn't say anything. Xiao Hong, we've been shopping for a long time today. Let's go back. Sima Yue said after they left the tea house. Xiao Hong saw that her expression wasn't right and said, Are you angry? No. Sima Yue said, I understand that you want to interact with him more. I'm not angry. I'm just a little tired. That's true. We've been shopping for a long time this year. I'll send you back then. Xiao Hong said. Sima Yue wanted to say that there was no need, but she was afraid that she was too abnormal and would make her suspect something, so she agreed. In the private room, Junwei and Mou were still tasting tea. Master, why didn't you kill her? If Anaheim knew, would she be angry? Junwei asked. I told her before that I was only going to help her investigate what kind of person this person was. I didn't promise to help her take revenge. Mou said, wouldn't it be a pity to kill a person with such a high level of difference? The tea she makes is indeed extraordinary. Junwei was very sure about this. He was often tasted by Mou's tea and was already picky with the tea he made. Ordinary tea wouldn't enter his eyes. To be honest, the tea made by Sima Yue was indeed better than the tea made by his master. It's rare to meet such a powerful person. If I don't learn properly, wouldn't I have wasted my time in the human world? Master is right, Xiao Hong sent them to the place where they stayed before going back. She smiled happily at the thought of seeing Mou often in the future. Sima Yue waited for her to leave before entering the door with Bei Gong Tang and the rest with a sullen face. Fatty Chu and the rest saw Sima Yue's expression change and asked, What's wrong? That Jun Mou is abnormal. Sima Yue said, He's from the Ghost Clan and is very powerful. When we were in the private room, I felt a flash of murderous intent towards me. Ghost Clan? How do you know? Qing Yi said so. Sima Yue said, and I feel like he knows me. Why did you agree to let such a person into the residence? If I rejected him, I might not be able to walk out of that private room. Chapter 1242. Even until now, Sima Yue seemed to be able to feel the way Mou looked at her inadvertently. Although there was no strong killing intent, it was enough for people like them to not show their anger. Is the Jun family also part of the Ghost Clan? Bei Gong Tang asked. I don't know if he's from the Ghost Clan, but did you notice that although he's sitting in the main seat, his words and actions reveal his respect for him? This means that the other party's status is higher than his. He shouldn't be from the Jun family. Sima Yue said. If you agree to such a dangerous person, what if he wants to kill you when he comes looking for you? Fatty Chu asked. Since he let me go today, he won't kill me for now. Sima Yue said, but I'll have to ask Qing Yi for help next time. Right now, Qing Yi was probably the only one who was a match for him. Right, where's Old Bai? I don't know. I haven't seen him in the past few days. Wei Ziqi said. I feel like Old Bai has something on his mind, Ouyang Fei said. I noticed that his expression wasn't right after he came here that day. Old Bai is a man with a story. Perhaps, his story is related to this place. Sima Yue said. How do you know? Fatty Chu asked. When Xiao Yi came to deliver the invitation card, I noticed that Old Bai's expression changed when he heard about the Armament Masters Guild. I asked him to protect me. At that time, he was a little hesitant. He wanted to come but didn't want to. So I guess it has something to do with this place. Could it be related to the owner of this place? Bei Gong Tang asked. That female refiner elder? I'll ask Xiao Hong about this elder later. Sima Yuyue said. Yu, is that MOU really alright? Sima Yulin was still very worried. As long as he's from the Ghost Clan and I'm prepared, he won't be able to kill me so quickly. Sima Yuyue said, after all, Qi Yan's flame is their nemesis. I don't think Qing Yi will watch me get killed. Even if he doesn't make a move, the other party won't know. Therefore, his existence is a form of intimidation. Sima Yuyue said, besides, since he's using the Jun family as a cover, it means that he doesn't want his identity as a ghost to be known. He definitely won't act recklessly. Did he say when he would come to discuss tea art with you? Sima Yuyue shook her head. Although the other party did not say anything, she could roughly guess that it could happen any time in the next few days. Although she thought so, she still did not expect that MOU would come to find her so early. When MOU arrived, he did not announce his arrival, nor did he take the usual route. Instead, he went directly to Sima Yuyue's courtyard, and she was having her breakfast happily. When MOU saw the tall stack of bowls on her table, he was stunned for a moment before he understood. Sima Yuyue was eating the last mouthful of porridge when she saw MOU suddenly appear. She almost choked to death and coughed violently. Why are you here? She felt that her throat was hurting from coughing, but it was not as strong as the shock in her heart. MOU's face darkened immediately. Didn't we agree to discuss tea art? Cough cough. But you don't have to come so early, right? Sima Yuyue was choked and glared at him. Now that Qing Yi was outside, she did not have to worry about him so much. Plus, she was choked so badly, so she was a little angry. The sun is already up in the sky. MOU said. But you shouldn't have come in directly, right? Why didn't anyone inform you? Sima Yuyue said again. It's troublesome to go through the main door. MOU said, alright, you're done eating. Let's discuss tea art. Although she cursed in her heart, she still obediently brought him to a small pavilion by the lake in the courtyard. Although Xiao Hong said that this courtyard was small, it was only compared to other courtyards. This courtyard was still very big. At least there was a front yard, a backyard, and a scenic lake. This pavilion was a little far from where she lived. Because she did not have spiritual power, they walked for more than 10 minutes before they arrived. Why did you come here? MOU asked. This pavilion is on the fake mountain by the lake. The scenery is the best. Sima Yuyue said. She would not tell him that she walked so far just to let others know that he was here. MOU saw that the scenery was indeed good, so he did not think about anything else. He grabbed her shoulder and jumped, bringing her to the pavilion. No one had come to the pavilion for a long time, so the stone table and stone bench were covered in dust. MOU frowned. With a wave of his hand, the dust was swept away. Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. Luckily this guy did not ask her to wipe the dust. Please. MOU casually chose a seat and sat down. Seeing that Sima Yuyue was still standing there, he said. Sima Yuyue went to face him and looked at him, saying, You want to learn Kung Fu tea? I want to learn the tea art that you know. MOU said. Then you will have to learn for a long time. Sima Yuyue said, There are several brewing methods for each type of tea, and each method has different requirements for different types of tea. This is not something that can be learned in a short time. Then I will follow you and slowly learn until I learn everything. Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. He really had the bad temper of those almighty people. He did whatever he wanted to do. I think that if you know too much, you will lose the heart to taste tea. If young Master MOU really likes tea, you don't have to be so serious about it, especially about tea. She advised. How could MOU not understand Sima Yuyue's meaning? Wasn't she telling him to get lost if he learned Kung Fu tea? Life is too long. You have to find a hobby for yourself. MOU said, although this tea art is very deep, but compared to the long life, it is just a drop in the ocean. Didn't this mean that I have all the time? She looked at him and wanted to ask, aren't you going back to the ghost realm? Aren't you afraid of being found out by the human realm? How could she do anything if he was by her side? Don't be unwilling. Mou said, what you need to do now is to please me. Why should I? Sima Yue sneered. The thing that she would never do in her life was to please others. Because your information is now in my hands. The daughter of the Dark Princess, Anaheim, asked me to get your information. It would be best if I can kill you directly. Sima Yue's fingers curled, and her heart sank. This Mou really knew a lot of things. No wonder he looked at her with killing intent. Nervous? Mou said, you should be glad that you know the art of tea, so I don't want to kill you for the time being. So, why don't you hurry up and please me? Sima Yue took a deep breath and said, pleasing people is something that I left in my mother's womb. If you really want to learn the art of tea, I have my requirements. Chapter 1243. A dark light flashed in Mou's eyes. He had been in the mortal realm for so many years and had heard a lot about her. Of course, most of these rumors were investigated by people. From the information he received, although this little girl was young, her guts weren't small at all. How could a person who had done so many things be a coward? Therefore, he was only surprised for a moment that she wanted to make a request in such a situation. Tell me, what do you want? If you're only here to discuss kung fu tea with me, I'd be more than happy to oblige. If you want to learn from me, I'm sorry, but I only teach my own disciples. Sima Yue shrugged helplessly. Mou's face turned even darker. His body's hostility was exposed, and the entire pavilion was wrapped up in a gale. Sima Yue remained calm. Although the wind was so strong that it made it difficult for her to breathe, she was not frightened. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? Or are you saying that I can't bear to kill you because you know the art of tea? Mou's voice was filled with killing intent. It could be said that if Sima Yue said anything wrong, he would immediately take her life. Even Anaheim had to give in to him, and no one in the entire ghost realm dared to disobey him. How dare a silly little girl say such words to him? Can't bear to kill me? Cough, cough. The moment Sima Yue spoke, the wind rushed into her mouth. Since when did a member of the ghost clan have such a reluctant heart? Looks like you do know a little. I thought you had something to rely on, so you were indulging in fantasy. He retracted his aura, and the surrounding wind instantly stopped. Sima Yue did not let her guard down because of this. You're right, but you're also wrong. What's right and what's wrong? I do have something to rely on. You're right. However, my request is not a whimsical one. Sima Yue said, if you don't want to be my disciple, you won't be able to kill me and you won't be able to learn any skills. After saying that, she glanced at the lake and smiled confidently. Mou followed her gaze and looked over. By the lake, Little Seven and Little Dream were playing. Qing Yi was looking at them dotingly. Feeling Mou's gaze, Qing Yi turned her head slightly. Their eyes met, but in that instant, it felt like 10,000 years. So there is such a powerful person here. No wonder you're not as obedient as you were yesterday. Mou retracted his gaze, his expression not looking good. Sima Yue smiled, thank you, young master Mou, for showing mercy yesterday. Humph. You're threatening me. Mou was in a very bad mood. How many years had it been? He had already forgotten the taste of being threatened. I'm not threatening you. Sima Yue took out a tea set and boiled some water. She then made a cup of tea for both of them. This method was the same as the one he used yesterday, but he could smell that the fragrance was stronger than the one he used yesterday. Please. Smelling the fragrance of the tea, the anger in his heart instantly dissipated by quite a bit. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. He wanted to see if the tea she brewed using the same method would taste better than the one he brewed. The answer was self-evident. Each of them held a cup of tea and tasted it. The pavilion quieted down for a moment. The strong killing intent and the raging wind just now seemed to have never existed. After drinking a cup of tea, Sima Yue refilled it with boiling water. You win. After a long time, he opened his mouth and said helplessly. Then I wonder which path young Master Mo you chose? Sima Yue asked with a smile. Like you, I won't choose any path. Mo said, but I can promise you that I won't kill you. No, it seems that young Master Mo you doesn't understand what I mean. It's not that you don't want to kill me, but that you can't kill me. I think we've already understood this before. Sima Yue said, what we want to talk about now is whether we should continue to discuss the art of tea, how to discuss it, in the short term or in the long term. What do you think? Mo sniffed the tea. Even if it was the second cup, it was still so intoxicating. If it's according to my idea, then naturally after today's discussion, young Master Mo you will let go of me, a little human, and we won't have any contact with each other in the future. I'll teach you this kung fu tea and today's tea brewing technique. Sima Yue said. You don't want to be involved with me. Mo said with certainty. Young Master Mo is a sensible person. Although I don't know what your identity is, but since you can say Anaheim's name so naturally, I think your relationship shouldn't be bad. And I killed her son, if you pester me, I think it's too dangerous. Aren't you sure that I can't kill you? The danger I'm talking about is that you'll bring me too much trouble. And although I'm not afraid of trouble, I've never liked to deal with trouble. So, it's best not to be with you. Sima Yue said straightforwardly. Hee hee. Mo chuckled. She was indeed her daughter. Her courage was big enough. Aren't you afraid that I'll send news of you back? If that's the case, I'm afraid you won't have any peace in the future. Even if those from the Ghost Clan can come here, not many of them are as powerful as you, right? Sima Yue said, if that's the case, then I'll kill as many as they come. Anyway, those who want to kill me, I'll never be lenient. For example, you do? Sima Yue shrugged, which was considered a tacit agreement. But I'm not talking about your news. Mo said. You're saying, that's right. If those from the ghost realm know that your mother is Yukuluo, what do you think your life will be like in the future? Chapter 1244. In the end, the two of them did not become master and disciple. Sima Yue had never intended to accept him as her disciple. She was not the type of person who would accept anyone as her disciple. She was just using it as a stalling tactic. After that, Mo promised that he wouldn't do anything to her, nor would he send news of her back. Finally, when he promised to protect her safety during this period of time, the two finally reached an agreement. Although she didn't know if she could trust him, this was the best she could do for now. Since we have reached an agreement, can we begin? Mo asked. Sure. Sima Yue was in a good mood after dealing with the other party. She took out the tea and water that she had prepared and showed him how to make kung fu tea. She also told him what he needed to pay attention to when making Tai Guanyin with kung fu tea. Mo really liked tea, so when Sima Yue talked about it, he listened very carefully and remembered everything she said. However, it still tasted like the tea brewed by 1,000 people. Although he followed her instructions to brew the tea, it was still not as fragrant as the tea brewed by her. You'll know after soaking a few more times. Sima Yue said. In fact, the difference between the two of them was only a tiny bit. Most people would not be able to tell. However, for those who loved tea, this was a huge difference. Therefore, Mo had always been dissatisfied with the tea he brewed, so he had been practicing the whole morning, causing her to drink a lot of tea. Unfortunately, the tea didn't fill her up. After drinking the tea, she still wanted to eat lunch. However, from the looks of it, the other party didn't seem to have any intention of leaving. Mo, you've been drinking all morning. Haven't you had enough? No. Then continue on your own. I'm going to do my own thing. Sima Yue said. What are you trying to do? Humans are made of iron and rice is made of steel. I'm now a normal person who can't use spiritual energy. If I don't eat, I'll be hungry. Sima Yuyue said, so you can continue making tea here. I'm going to cook. Can the things you make be eaten? Mou said, why don't we eat outside? Sima Yuyue was stunned. Had this guy changed? Unfortunately, she didn't like the things outside. I prefer to cook for myself. If you want to leave, remember to use the main gate. I won't see you out. She jumped down from the top in a few steps and walked towards her own courtyard. She really left Mou behind. After drinking tea for the whole morning, she had some understanding of him. The more powerful a person was, the less likely he was to kill people. Since they had reached an agreement, he would not care about her until he learned her tea art. Of course, the most important reason why she ran so fast was because she had been drinking tea all morning. She had long wanted to pee, but the other party was a man, so she couldn't say anything. It's really inconvenient without spiritual power. When she came out of the room with a sigh, she saw Mou standing in the courtyard and was shocked. Why are you still here? I'll wait for you. We'll continue in the afternoon. Mou said. Tea addict. She sighed in a low voice and walked towards the kitchen. Mou followed her in. Seeing her skillfully cooking, he said, you actually know how to cook. Just like tea, it's a great hobby. Yuko Luo doesn't know how to cook. Sima Yoyue's hand paused. She turned around and looked at him. Are you close to my mother? Not really, we've met a few times. Oh. Sima Yuyue turned around and continued. If he wasn't close, then there was no need to ask. Oh right, do you want to eat together? If he wanted to eat, she had to make more. Otherwise, if she didn't prepare anything for him and he wanted to eat, she wouldn't be able to fill her stomach. Mou sat down at the dining table. He was originally waiting for her, but when he smelled the food she made, it seemed to be quite fragrant. You can have some. Sima Yuyue originally planned to make 5 dishes. Now that he wanted to eat, in order to prevent herself from not being full, she took out a whole duck and made a roast duck. Then, she took out 3 kilograms of spirit beast meat and made 3 more dishes. Fortunately, her divine sense was still there, so she could cook several dishes at the same time. Therefore, 7 dishes, 1 braised meat, and 1 roast duck were all prepared in less than an hour. Mou saw that she made so many dishes in such a short time and knew that she must have cooked frequently. Other people's divine sense was used for cultivation, but she was using it for cooking. Sima Yuyue placed all the dishes on the table. Then, she scooped a bowl of rice for each of them and started to eat. It was already past lunchtime, and she was already hungry. She was dragged to have tea with him after breakfast. She was so nervous that she forgot to eat her elixirs. Now, her chest was sticking to her back. This body of hers. Fortunately, her culinary skills were not bad. Otherwise, she really didn't know how to survive this period of time. Mou saw that she was enjoying the food, so he picked up his chopsticks and tasted it. He wasn't the kind of person who liked to eat, so he planned to stop after tasting a little. However, after the first bite, his chopsticks didn't stop eating. Although his speed wasn't fast, he didn't eat any less than Sima Yuyue. For example, he ate half of the roast duck. He ate nearly 2 kilograms of the braised beast meat. He also ate about half of the other dishes. When the 2 of them finished eating, there were only empty plates left on the table. Sima Yuyue glanced at him. This guy's speed wasn't fast, so how did he eat so much? Luckily, she had the foresight to prepare more. Otherwise, it wouldn't be enough. She rubbed her stomach. It seemed like she wasn't full, so she took out a pill that Bei Gong Tang refined for her and ate it. Seeing that Mou was looking at the pill in her hand, she shook it and said, "It's all because you ate too much. I'm not full yet. This pill is for replenishing energy. You have pills, why do you still need to eat? It's probably a psychological effect." She kept the pill, although eating pills is useful. If you don't eat, you will feel hungry. Also, pills don't have any taste, so you don't feel anything when you eat them. It's better to eat. Your appetite for food is so strong. You're different from your mother. Mou said. Sima Yuyue didn't know how outstanding her mother was. Everyone would compare her to her mother. Didn't you eat more than half of it just now? Your appetite for food is so strong too. Sima Yuyue said. Since you're done eating, let's continue discussing tea. Mou didn't answer her question. He got up and left. Sima Yuyue pouted at his back. She kept the plates in her spirit pagoda. Naturally, someone would help her wash them. The two of them came to the pavilion again. Not long after, Xiaohong came. Seeing that Mou was here, her eyes were filled with joy and admiration. Sima Yuyue sighed in her heart. Xiaohong, if you knew his identity, would you still be like this? This book came from Chapter 1245. Crazy Wife, Miracle Doctor. 5th Missy Mou was very cold to Xiaohong. He answered every 10 questions she asked. However, he was much more patient with Sima Yuyue. He would even take the initiative to talk to her. Even though Xiaohong was a carefree person, she understood something after spending half a day with him. She left early in the evening, saying that she had something to do. Sima Yuyue looked at her fleeing figure and shook her head helplessly. Although she would be sad for a few days now, it was better than being hurt when she found out about his identity. In the following days, Xiaohong came less often, and she would always come when Mou was not around. Once Mou came, she would leave. Sima Yuyue complained to Mou when she was drinking tea. It was all because of him that she could not talk to Xiaohong properly these few days, and she did not have time to ask her about the elder. You have seriously affected my life, she complained. After a few days of interaction, they had become familiar with each other. She knew his identity, the leader of the #1 family in the ghost world. His strength was second only to the royal family, and he was much stronger than Anaheim's family. Therefore, Anaheim tried to rope him in. She knew that he had a perverted love for tea, so she sent people to the human world to get him good tea. He did not like to owe people favors, so he helped Anaheim with a lot of ideas. In the eyes of outsiders, the two of them were very close. However, in Mou's eyes, it was just a deal. This was what he told her when they were drinking tea. Knowing that he was not really on Anaheim's side, she was more open. Since Anaheim could use tea to get him to help, she could also use tea to attract him to her side. Mou saw that Sima Yuyue was braver every time they interacted, so she was not afraid of him anymore. Otherwise, why would she complain about him? He skillfully brewed the kung fu tea. His elegant movements were more pleasing to the eye than hers. How did I affect your life? How is it not affected? Xiaohong doesn't play with me anymore, Sima Yuyue said. She is the president's daughter. The day after tomorrow is the succession ceremony, so she naturally has to help. Mou said disapprovingly. But I have something to ask her. She runs away quickly every time she sees you. You've severely hurt her maiden heart. It's better than hurting her life. Mou said, I don't like people pestering me. If it makes me impatient, I'll deal with it directly. So you should be glad that she gave up early. Sima Yuyue looked at his expression and knew that he was not exaggerating. What do you want to ask her? You don't know about their union, Sima Yuyue said. Then I really can't help you, Mou said. No, you can, Sima Yuyue said, as long as you don't look for me, I can chat with Xiaohong for the whole day. In the end, she was still dissatisfied with him for making her drink tea for 2 days and did not want to accompany him anymore. Why don't we rest for 2 days? Anyway, you won't be leaving anytime soon. Sima Yuyue said, you have to give me some time to settle my own matters. Mou saw her blinking at him, as if she wanted him to agree. After a moment of silence, he said, you don't have to drink tea, but I want to go with you and see what you want to do. Why? Because, you said that I'm in charge of your safety now. I have to know what you want to do so that I can take better precautions. Mou said matter-of-factly. He would not say that he was more interested in her after a few days of interaction. He wanted to see who was more powerful between her and her mother. Sima Yue stared at him. Was this guy crazy? But she could not persuade him because she could not beat him. So, in the end, she did not have the right to decide. But the good thing was that she did not have to drink tea all day. The next day, without drinking tea, Sima Yue finally found Bai Sheng. No, it was through the scarlet bees that she got news of him and found him. But, at that time, his situation was not good and he was being chased by people. Sima Yue brought Little Seven and the rest. It was Little Seven and the rest who brought her to the place where Bai Sheng was being chased. She saw that he was surrounded by more than 10 people of similar strength and he was already injured. Damn, you dare to kill my old Bai, see how I deal with you. Little Seven and Bai Sheng's relationship was better. Seeing that he was injured, she was furious. She threw Sima Yue aside and flew over. Little Dream and Hua Hua also rushed over. The other party was not weak. Little Seven could deal with them, but with the injured Bai Sheng, it was a little dangerous. Qing Yi and Mo stood together with her. Although they did not form a protective circle, the energy dissipated automatically when it reached them. Sima Yue felt for the first time that it was good to stand together with such powerful people. On the other side, Little Seven and the rest quickly took care of the people. They killed a few and spared a few. The ones who were spared were kept in Hua Hua's bud. Sima Yue walked over and saw Bai Sheng taking out a pill and eating it. Her face darkened and she did not say a word. Bai Sheng saw her like that and knew that she was really angry. He opened his mouth but nothing came out. Old Bai, who are these people? Why did they fight? Little Seven asked with concern. Let's talk when we get back. Sima Yue saw that there were many people around and thought that it was not good to question him in public in the weapon refining city. Before she left, she casually set a fire. Little Birdie went to burn those people's corpses and brought back their space rings. Sima Yue looked at the space rings that Little Birdie placed on her hand and pursed her lips. Who did it learn this from? If anyone wants to find Old Bai, I think it won't be hard to find our place to stay. She kept the space rings and said casually. Then the group of people left the street. Her words were for the power behind her to hear. The corpses were burned for them to see. Since you dare to kill my people, then I'll kill your people too. These people were all very strong. If they were burned and captured by her in front of so many people, the person behind this would definitely be angered to death. When they returned to the courtyard, Fatty Chu and the rest surrounded them. How is it, are you okay? Bei Gong Tang saw that Bai Sheng's clothes were stained with blood and asked. It shouldn't be a big problem. Sima Yue said, let's go to the living room to talk. She walked 2 steps and stopped. She said to Mou, shouldn't you go back? I feel that I should stay and watch the show. Mou said, who knows, you might need my help. Help? Sima Yue glanced at him and understood what he meant. You can't watch the show for free. After she said that, she brought everyone to the living room. Old Bai, why didn't you contact us? If I didn't send my bees to find you, do you know what the consequences would be? However, the two of them had experienced so many hardships. How could they be willing to give up? Even if they were to die, they would die together. But the final outcome made people sigh. Shengguan Wanqing died, and although Old Bai was seriously injured, he was saved by the people of Blood Fiend City and brought back. Since then, he had been living in the city. Occasionally, he would go out, but because of the poison in his body, he had to go back. Until Sima Yue went to Blood Fiend City and changed his life. After listening to his narration, everyone was infuriated, but they also felt sorry for his past experiences. If he was someone with status, why would he end up like this? Most likely, the Shengguan clan would love to have him as their son-in-law. Who poisoned you? Sima Yue asked. The Wu clan. Bai Sheng said. The people who killed you today were from the Wu clan and the Sage Pavilion. Looks like they've all come to Armament City. Ouyang Fei said. What's up with that person from the Armament Masters Guild? Was he sent by the guild? Fatty Chu asked. I don't think so. Old Bai said, that person has a good relationship with Wu Qing and is closer to the Wu clan. At this time, I think the Armament Masters Guild shouldn't have the time to participate in this matter. This should be a personal matter. Is that person from the Armament Masters dead? Sima Yue asked. Hua Hua threw out a flower and spat out the person inside. It was one of the stewards from the Armament Masters Guild. Because he was poisoned by the flower, he was already unconscious. Will he die? Fatty Chu asked. Hua Hua has many types of poisons. It depends on which one she uses on him. He won't die for now, but he won't feel good either. Hua Hua said. The other two powers are easy to deal with, but what about this person? Bei Gong Tang looked at Sima Yue. As for the other two powers, the Sage Pavilion didn't have a good relationship with them. When the people from the Sage Pavilion were killed in Wenhai Little Realm, they were destined to be enemies. As for the Wu clan, they didn't have any contact with them. But because of Old Bai's matter, they probably wouldn't make peace. So, if they shed all pretense of cordiality, then so be it. It was inevitable anyway. But the Armament Masters Guild was different. In any case, they were in their territory and had come to congratulate them. If they caused trouble, wouldn't it make things difficult for them? In any case, she had some relationship with Yi Dong and Xiao Hong. She looked at the unconscious person on the ground and thought about how to deal with this person. It wasn't easy to kill him, but she also didn't want to let him go. It's really a little difficult. She sighed deeply. However, before she could make a decision, someone came to make it for her. Miss Yue, the president is here. A maid ran over. Although this was the Armament Master City, and the people here were all from the Armament Masters Guild, they were the ones living in this courtyard. Out of courtesy, they had to announce their arrival. Sima Yue glanced at the person on the ground and stood up to welcome them. They had just reached the courtyard when they saw Yi Dong, Xiao Hong and a few people from the Armament Masters Guild walking in. Greetings to Uncle He. Sima Yue bowed slightly to Yi Dong and asked, tomorrow is the inauguration ceremony. Why is Uncle He here at this time? I'm here to check on your situation. Yi Dong said, I already know about what happened in the East Main Street. Are you all okay? We're fine. Sima Yue said, Uncle He, please come in. Everyone returned to the living room. The first thing they saw was the manager of the Armament Masters Guild lying on the ground at the entrance. Then, they saw Mo Yu leisurely sitting on the chair and drinking tea. Uncle He, I was still thinking about how to deal with this person just now. Since he's from the Armament Masters Guild, now that you're here, I'll hand him over to you. Sima Yue and Yi Dong sat on the main seat. As for this person who wasn't very important, she might as well return him to Yi Dong. Although this person is from the Armament Masters Guild, but for him to take action against a guest without permission, no matter what the reason is, it is unforgivable. When I bring him back, I will definitely punish him properly and give you an explanation. Yi Dong said seriously. Sima Yue's smile widened. Since he said that, she could understand his attitude towards this matter. Then it would be much more convenient for her to deal with the following matters. Chapter 1247. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor, Yu, do you know who you killed on the streets today? Yi Dong asked. I do. Sima Yue said. Then are you worried? I'm worried, of course I'm worried. They are two unshakable powers. Sima Yue said, but I've said it before, we are Heartbreak Valley's people. Whoever we touch, we will return the favor. Ha ha ha, seeing you like this, I don't think you're worried at all. Yi Dong looked at Sima Yue. Although she said she was scared, her expression didn't look scared at all. Can I take this as a compliment from Uncle He? Sima Yue said with a smile. You're still laughing. The Sage Pavilion and Wu Clan are not ordinary powers. You've offended both of them, how can you still laugh? You killed their people in front of everyone. It's the same as falling out with them. They will definitely find trouble with you. Xiao Hong said worriedly. I'll wait for them to come. Sima Yue said. How can you? Xiao Hong panicked. You didn't even bring anyone here. If they come to find you, how can you hide? Hong is right. He Qindong said, in the armament city, I can protect your safety. But once you leave this place, even if we show up, they might not accept it. Then I'll have to trouble Uncle He to take care of me in the city. Sima Yue said. Aren't you worried about your life outside? He Qindong looked at her calm expression. Why don't you stay here for a while? After we're done here, I'll get someone to send you back. They will still have to give face to the Armament Masters Guild. Won't that implicate the guild and other powers? Sima Yue said, Uncle He, you can protect our safety in the city. We're already very grateful. We can handle the rest on our own. Yu, the Wu clan and Sage Pavilion have brought many people. Xiao Hong said. We don't need too many people. It's good as long as we're strong. Sima Yue said, however, if we really want to compete in numbers, it's hard to say who will lose. They remembered that she still had the King of the Rocks among her contracted beasts. If she summoned all the birds, it was hard to say who would have more birds. All right then. We'll go and appease those two forces to ensure your safety in the city. He Qindong got up and prepared to leave. Sima Yue also stood up and bowed deeply to He Qindong. Thank you, Uncle He. This Uncle He was the most affectionate she had ever called him. He Qindong heard it, laughed twice, and asked people to take the people on the ground away. He came here first, and he still needed to pacify those two forces. Time was of the essence. After sending off the people from the Armament Master Guild, everyone returned to the living room. I thought you needed my help and I could sell you a favor. Now it seems like I don't need it. Mou sat on his own seat, and did not get up from the start to the end. Sima Yue did not know much about the Jun clan, but seeing him like this, she guessed that they would not be too bad. If you really want to help me, I can still provide you with this opportunity. Sima Yue said. Mou was speechless. Since when did he have to help someone? How could he do such a degrading thing? Yue, do you want to get the people from the valley to come over? Wei Ziqi asked. With Mou here, there's no need for anyone else, right? Sima Yue smiled at Mou, as if he would really help her. It's all because of me. Bai Xing said guiltily. I knew that if I came here, it would cause trouble, but I still wanted to come here to take a look. This was the place where she used to be. Sima Yue saw him blaming himself, and the anger in her heart subsided. She said, we guessed that you had something to do here, but we didn't have the time to ask you. We didn't expect it to be like this. Alright, you don't have to blame yourself for this. This isn't a problem just because you didn't go out. I once promised you that I would help you take revenge for the past. I wasn't just saying those words. But now isn't the right time. Bai Xing said. She did not have any spiritual energy. If she met with danger, she would not be able to protect herself. If she was injured, he would not be able to face his brothers in the valley, and even more so, he would not be able to face himself. She was like his family now. She was no longer the same. Don't worry. With Big Boss here, we will be fine. Sima Yue said. Big Boss? It's Mou. With a wave of his hand, he can easily crush them. Sima Yue explained. You didn't ask me. Mou said. Am I the kind of person who would casually make a move? Really? Then forget it. I'll think of a way myself. Sima Yue said. But I might be very busy during this period of time, so you'll have to taste the tea yourself. I originally said that if you help me, I'll give you some tea leaves that you haven't tasted before. Seems like there's no need for that. Anyway, you won't help me. Everyone was speechless. Your threat was too direct. Can't you be a little more technical? He was an almighty from the ghost realm. Would he accept your threat? But a certain someone just looked at Mou with a smile, as if it didn't matter if he took the bait or not. If it was someone else, or some other bait, Mou might really ignore it. But it had to be someone that he recently acknowledged. She even used tea leaves that he had never tasted before as bait. Although it was a simple threat, he just had to fall for it. Who asked her to be someone that he acknowledged? I'll protect your life. I don't care about anything else. Mou said. Deal. Sima Yue patted the table lightly and said happily. All right, old Bai. You don't have to worry. But those people hurt old Bai. We can't just let it go like that. Little Seven said. How can we let it go like that? Sima Yue said. But there's no use being anxious now. We have to get more information first. Know yourself and know your enemy. Only then can you win 100 battles. That's right. Wei Ziqi said. How many of those people came here? Who are they? How strong are they? We have to find out all of these. That's not easy. Just let the bees investigate. Little Seven said. I've already released the bees on the way back. When Old Bai was talking about these things, the bees had already received orders to investigate. Sima Yue said. You already thought of this at that time. Little Seven looked at her with admiration. She knew it. How could you not care about Old Bai's matters? Bai Xing's heart warmed. She looked so angry at that time, but she was still thinking for him. To be able to follow such a person, how lucky he was. Chapter 1248. When the discussion was almost done, Sima Yue was caught by Mou to drink tea again. Please search, to see the most complete. Update the fastest. She rolled her eyes at him and said, Mou, tomorrow is the succession ceremony hall, let's forget about it today. I need to think about how I'm going to face those people tomorrow. What's so good about facing those people? Mou said disapprovingly, they're just some small fries. I'm just a small fry in your eyes, but in their eyes, I'm just a small fry. Sima Yue said, this is not something that can be avoided just because you say so. Don't you have He Chendong to solve it for you? Uncle He can only ask them not to kill me during this period of time, but it doesn't mean that they won't make things difficult for us tomorrow. Sima Yue said. Then let the Jun family handle it. Mou said. Is the Jun family very strong? I can still protect you all. Why didn't you say so earlier? Then I won't have to think about how I'm going to spend tomorrow. Sima Yue said. Can you have tea with me now? So this guy still hasn't forgotten about this tea. You just said that there's tea that I haven't tasted before. Mou had a different kind of obsession with tea. Since you can't forget about it, I'll let you have a taste. I have kept this for a long time. Sima Yue said. Let me tell you, this tea tastes better the longer it is stored. It's been many years since I discovered this tea, but I couldn't bear to drink it. Today, I'll give it to you. What do you think? Not bad, right? What kind of tea is this? Tea, Sima Yue said, this tea is different from the ones we've had before. You can slowly taste it later. She took out a set of purple sand-covered tea set. After boiling the water, she used a tea knife to pry off a piece of tea and waited for the water to boil. When the water was boiling, she poured the boiling water into the cup, washed the tea, poured another cup for him, and handed the teacup to him. Mou had seen her take out various tea sets during this period of time. Now that he saw her take out another tea set, he felt that he had wasted a lot of good tea in the past. Fortunately, he had met her on this trip to the mortal realm, allowing him to comprehend what the true way of tea was. Otherwise, he might not be able to find the essence of the way of tea in this lifetime. Anaheim, who only knew how to find good tea for him, was really nothing compared to her. Although most of the time her purpose was obvious, it wasn't disgusting at all. The others watched as the two of them drank tea and chatted in the gazebo. From time to time, Sima Yu's laughter could be heard. They thought that it was a good thing that she knew how to make tea. Otherwise, not to mention finding a helper, her little life would be in danger. The next morning, Sima Yue woke up to pack her things. When she opened her eyes, the first thought that came to her mind was how long her punishment would last. At first, he thought that sleeping every day was fine, but now he felt that it was a waste of time. After sighing on the bed for a while, she got out of bed, tidied up, and went out. The others were already ready. Because there were too many people and the weapon refining city was relatively small, everyone had to walk to the big square of the Alchemist Guild. Originally, this ceremony was going to be held in the Alchemist Guild, but because there were too many people, they had to change it to an open-air square. However, this square was not far from where Sima Yue and the others lived. It was only half an hour's walk. Sima Yue and the others arrived at the gate and saw the Jun family head leading a group of people from the street. She took a glance, but Mou was not there. Miss Yue, what a coincidence. Jun Wei cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and smiled. Jun family head, what a coincidence. Sima Yue returned the greeting. They were already at the entrance of her place. This coincidence was really good. Since everyone is going to the square, why don't we go together? Jun Wei said. Sima Yue remembered that Mou said that the Jun family would help them block those people today. She guessed that he had specially instructed them. All right. Jun family head, please. Please. Maybe it was because of Mou's instructions, but Jun Wei looked much more approachable this time. He chatted with her along the way, and did not have the faint coldness that he had the other day. Why didn't Mou come? Sima Yue asked. He said that he doesn't like to watch the show, so he won't go. Jun Wei said. Thank you, Miss Yue, for taking care of him these 2 days. If not, I would have been so busy these few days that I would have fainted. Sima Yue understood the meaning behind his words. She thought that he was relieved, but she had to drink water for a few days. When they arrived at the entrance of the square, she felt a thick murderous intent surrounding them. She raised her head and saw a group of people looking at them with murderous intent. Sima Yue recognized their clothes. They were the Wu family and the Sage Pavilion. What made her a little surprised was that Nalan Lan was also in this group of people. With her status, how could she attend this ceremony? And when Nalan Lan saw her this time, the hatred in her eyes seemed to have deepened. It was as if she had killed her sweetheart. It seemed that there was indeed a piece of news from the bees. A girl's sweetheart had been killed on the streets. That girl couldn't really be her, right? Jun Wei saw that Sima Yue looked at Nalan Lan in confusion and said, she is a newly selected holy maiden from the Sage Pavilion. I heard that she realized her own path in the immortal land and was promoted as an exception. Her path. Sima Yue laughed. Nalan Lan's path was not complete. The most important word, heart, had run into Han Miao Shuang's body. She still laughed when she thought about it. She seems to hate you a lot. Jun Wei said, could it be that genius beauties can't coexist with each other? Patriarch Jun, you think too much. Sima Yue said, it's just that I accidentally killed her sweetheart that day. She wants to pounce on me and tear me apart. You killed her sweetheart? Then she should come and tear you apart. Jun Wei agreed. Oh my, Patriarch Jun, do you think it's not lively enough? On the other side, Nalan Lan saw Sima Yue. Her heart was filled with hatred that she had never felt before. She hated her even more than when she exposed Mu Rong's two-timing. If they weren't here, she would have killed her immediately. She had just been brought to this continent by her master when she met Mu Bai, who was patrolling from the main hall. From then on, her heart fell on him. For so many years, she worked hard to improve herself and cultivate so that she could enter the main hall and see him often. Because of this, even when she knew that Sima Yue was here, she didn't continue to kill her. But she killed her sweetheart, and it happened just 2 months after she entered the cabinet. She was so close to happiness, but once she appeared, her happiness was shattered, just like when she was a young girl. This Sima Yuyue was her life's nemesis. This book came from Chapter 1249. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Chapter 1249, Failure to Kill, Support Seeking, Update Date. The more Naylan Lan thought about it, the more she couldn't suppress the anger in her body, and her body subconsciously wanted to rush over. Lan, The woman beside her grabbed her arm. Not today. Today was the Armament Masters Guild's inauguration ceremony. Whoever caused trouble at this time would be going against the Armament Masters Guild. Otherwise, when He Chen Dong came to find them yesterday, they wouldn't have suppressed this matter. Master. Naylan Lan bit her lips, her eyes filled with tears, looking pitiful. Don't worry, they won't be able to escape. The woman looked coldly at Sima Yuyue. Daring to kill my nephew, I will take revenge no matter what. But not today. If we make a move today, not only will we fall out with the Armament Masters Guild, we will also cause conflicts with other powers, so don't be rash. Naylan Lan nodded and softly replied, I understand, Master. She only recognized this master after coming to the General Pavilion, so they weren't very close, so she didn't dare to be impudent in front of her. I didn't expect them to be with the Jun family. The Jun family is protecting them. The Jun family rarely contacts other powers, so how did they get involved? Wu Gaofei said with a sullen face. The Jun family can protect them today, but after today, I'll see who can protect them. Wu Qing's father, Wu Gaofei's brother, Wu Gaoyun said. He must take revenge for his son's death. Sima Yuyue saw that the other party hated them, but didn't dare to provoke them, and was a little surprised by the Jun family's strength. In her opinion, even if they couldn't kill them, they could at least threaten them. But they were standing still, which could only mean one thing: they were afraid of the Jun family. But the outside world didn't know much about the inner regions, so she didn't know what the Jun family's status was. What made her more curious was the relationship between the Jun family and Mou. She could see that the Jun family was indeed human, but from Mou's words, the Jun family was subordinate to him. They won't come, let's go in. Jun Wei said to Sima Yuyue. Okay. As soon as they entered, someone immediately came up to greet them and brought them to their designated seats. Coincidentally, the Wu clan and the Sage Pavilion were right in front of them. With their good eyesight as cultivators, they could see that Sima Yuyue and Jun Wei were chatting happily. They were not disturbed by their killing intent at all. In fact, Sima Yuyue and Jun Wei were also talking about them, but their expressions were too relaxed, making them think that they did not care at all. Aren't you worried at all? Jun Wei looked at Sima Yuyue and asked. What's there to worry about? Sima Yuyue said, in the city, the Armament Masters Guild said that they will ensure our safety. I mean after we leave the city, Jun Wei said. The Armament Masters Guild was very close to her, so he knew that she would be fine in the Armament City. What he was curious about was, how was she going to escape after leaving this place? We don't know who will kill who after we leave the city. Sima Yuyue smiled. You sure are confident. As far as I know, you don't have any spirit energy now, right? If you are alone, you will be in danger. Jun Wei said. It is a little dangerous. Sima Yuyue admitted. But it was not certain who would kill who. Those Bird Clan elders were all half a step into the Paragon rank, and the other party did not seem to have that many experts. Jun Wei saw that Sima Yuyue was not worried at all. He did not know if she was pretending to be calm or if she really had something to rely on. But no matter which one it was, being able to remain calm in such a situation was already very rare. After a while, the coronation ceremony officially began. The surroundings quietened down. They stopped talking and watched the ceremony. There was nothing special about this ceremony. It was nothing more than a speech, a coronation, and so on. But after a lot of trouble, it still took 2 to 3 hours. After the ceremony ended, it was almost noon. The afternoon was free time for everyone to have fun. There was a banquet and program in the evening. But Sima Yuyue was not very interested in these. She symbolically attended the banquet and left early. She did not expect that she would be blocked at the exit. I knew you would leave early. Nalan Lan was standing outside the door. When she heard movement, she turned around and looked at her. You really know me well. Sima Yue shrugged. She was not surprised. She did not see Nalan Lan in the banquet hall. She knew that she must be waiting for her outside. You have guts. You clearly know that we want to kill you, but you still dare to come out alone. Nalan Lan said. She looked at Sima Yue, who was dressed as a woman. Other than hatred, there was also jealousy in her eyes. When she was in the immortal land, she heard that she was a woman. Now that she saw her with her own eyes, she realized that she was actually so beautiful. She could not help but be jealous and want to destroy her beauty. Sima Yue shrugged. I have always been gutsy. It's not the first time, you know. You are still so annoying. Nalan Lan saw the indifference on her face and the hatred in her heart exploded. She could not control her spirit energy and attacked her. Sima Yue was still in her original position. She watched as her spirit energy attacked her quickly. She did not move an inch. Bang dash, when the spirit energy neared, Sima Yue's body emitted a light blue ray of light, reflecting Nalan Lan's spirit energy back. Nalan Lan dodged to the side and the spirit energy landed on the ground. It made a loud sound. The guards at the door heard the movement and came out. They quickly separated the two of them. But from their formation, they were protecting Sima Yue at the back. Young Miss Nalan, fighting is prohibited in the city. Captain Hao walked out from the back and said to Nalan Lan. Nalan Lan saw the way they were standing and knew that there was no hope of killing her tonight. The Armament Masters Guild was protecting her. If not, how would she dare to be so savage? Young Miss Nalan, if you are like this, it will be difficult for the Sage Pavilion, right? Captain Hao reminded her. Of course, Nalan Lan knew that she could not do anything to her today. She had snuck out just now. If her master and the others found out, not only would they not be able to kill her, they would also be reprimanded by the sect. Humph, Sima Yue, you better not step out of Armament City for the rest of your life. If not, I will kill you with my own hands. I'll wait. Sima Yue smiled, but we won't know who will be the one killing who by then. Humph. Nalan Lan glared daggers at her. Then she went in unwillingly. Captain Hao turned to Sima Yue and cupped his hands, saying, Young Miss Yue, it is not safe in the city. Let us send you back. Sima Yue smiled, saying, No need. I am not far from here. I will walk for a while. Captain Hao wanted to say that this was the president's idea. But seeing Mou walking over, he swallowed his words. Chapter 1250. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Chapter 1250, Night Battle Update. Date. Sima Yue saw Mou coming over and was a little surprised. This guy didn't come in the day. What was he doing here at this time? Why are you here? To pick you up. To pick me up? I went to your place to look for you. Seeing that you weren't back yet, I came over to take a look. Mou said. Sima Yue turned back to look at the banquet hall. Bei Gong Tang and the rest walked out from the door. Yue, how is it? I told you that my armor is not bad. Fatty Chu smiled and said to Sima Yue. It's enough to deal with Nalan Lan, but if it's an attack from a stronger person, it might not be useful. Bei Gong Tang said. When they came out, they guessed that Nalan Lan was waiting outside. Sima Yue said to come out and try, so everyone stayed at the door to watch. Seeing that it was only Nalan Lan, they didn't show themselves. If it's useful, then it's useful. Sima Yue said, who knows when my spiritual energy will recover. I hope it'll be soon. Bei Gong Tang said, I saw the Wu Clan and Sage Pavilion's expressions when they looked at us today. They were all fierce and powerful, not easy to deal with. Alright, let's not stand here. Let's go back first. Sima Yue said. When they returned to their place, Sima Yue let everyone rest while she stayed behind to talk to Mou. Mou, why did you come to pick us up tonight? Sima Yue asked. Mo Yu looked at Sima Yue. It seemed that she didn't believe what he said just now. I heard that someone snuck in. I was worried that you would be in danger. Mo Yu said. Someone snuck in? More powerful than the Jun clan? Sima Yue was surprised. If it was such a powerful person, why would he need to sneak in? If he could sneak in, it meant that he couldn't be exposed. Thinking about the death of the previous president, Sima Yue guessed that it wouldn't be smooth sailing. In the morning, she was still wondering if there would be any problems during the ceremony. She didn't expect it to go so smoothly. He Qindong and the others must have done a lot to isolate the hidden dangers outside. I also happened to hear it when I was resting in the woods outside the city. Mo Yu said, although I don't know those people, I can tell that they want to sneak in and do something. They also said that the security during the day was too tight, so they took advantage of the dinner party when everyone was relaxed to come in. Do you know who they are? Sima Yue asked. I don't know, and I'm not interested to know. If it wasn't because you guys are still in the city, I wouldn't even mention this matter. Mo Yu said. It really suited his personality. No, I have to tell Xiaohong and the others. Sima Yue said. She took out a brush, ink, paper, and inkstone and wrote a small piece of paper. She let a few scarlet bees out and passed the small piece of paper to them, asking them to bring the message over. She and Mo Yu waited in the courtyard. She didn't know if the bees had brought the news. Bang! The sound of fighting could be heard from the Armament Masters Guild. Sima Yue looked towards that direction. The spiritual energy's light seemed to have lit up the entire night. Bai Xing jumped out from somewhere and injected spiritual energy into the lake beside the pavilion. The ripples of the array enveloped the courtyard. Seeing Sima Yue and Mo Yu in the pavilion, he flew over. What happened? Fatty Chu and the others came out from their houses and looked towards the direction of the Armament Masters Guild. Why did they suddenly start fighting? Wei Ziqi frowned. If they didn't come back earlier, they would have been embroiled in the battle. Seeing the power of those spiritual techniques, they would have died without leaving a trace. The people fighting are so strong. Ouyang Fei said, if it wasn't for the protection of the array, I'm afraid our courtyard wouldn't be able to hold on. Yue is at the pavilion. Let's go over and take a look. Everyone came to the pavilion and saw Bai Xing inside. What exactly is going on? Why did they start fighting? Bei Gong Tang was the last to come up and asked. Someone sneaked in. Sima Yue said. Who is it? Thinking about the previous president's death, it's not hard to guess who it is. Sima Yue said, but we still don't know their identity. Can this array withstand this power? The people fighting there were too strong. Who knew if it would be unable to withstand a few more attacks? This array was specially set up by the 100 changing doors in the late Qing dynasty. There shouldn't be a problem. Unless there's a battle between high-level paragon experts. Bai Xing said. This was his lover's courtyard. If he said it, everyone would naturally believe him. Bang dash, the clash of spiritual techniques caused the entire city to tremble. Luckily we came back early. If not, it would be dangerous. Fatty Chu patted his chest with a face full of fear. The others nodded in agreement. Luckily Sima Yue didn't like to attend these banquets. She left after showing her face. If not, who knew what would happen to them if they were trapped inside? I think Uncle He and the rest should have made preparations. Even if they didn't come back, we shouldn't be in big trouble. Sima Yue said uncertainly. But, it's best that we came back early. Bai Xing said. Sima Yue looked outside worriedly. I wonder how the situation is over there. In such an intense battle, she didn't even dare to release her scarlet bees. She guessed that once they left the protection of the array, they would all die. It was also because of this that they didn't say anything to help. Because in such a battle situation, it wasn't something they could participate in. The battle continued for an entire night. It wasn't until noon on the second day that the noise outside gradually became softer. It stopped. Fatty Chu came to the side of the pavilion and looked in that direction. The noise is gone. The battle should have ended. Wait a while before going out. Let my bees go out and see the situation first. Sima Yue said. She released her scarlet bees and let them see the situation outside. When they returned, she said, the battle has ended. The Union won. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that the Union won. If they lost, it would be troublesome for them to leave. Bai Xing went to turn off the array. Everyone went out and ran towards the Union. The battle that night was really intense. Some of the buildings along the way were destroyed. Only those with arrays were preserved. She came to the banquet hall last night. There were many corpses outside. It seemed like the battle last night wasn't easy. She saw Xiao Hong and a few men talking about something and walked over. Xiao Hong saw her and asked the people beside her to leave. She walked over and asked, Yue, are you guys okay? We're fine. Sima Yue saw that her face was pale. Are you hurt? Chapter 1251. Xiao Hong glanced at her arm. Her clothes were drenched in blood. Copy URL access %77% 77% 77% 2E% 76% 6F% 64% 74% 77% 2E% 63% 6F% 6D. I'm fine. It's just that my arm is a little injured. Fortunately, you left early last night. Otherwise, I don't know how badly you would have been injured in your current state. It's good that you're fine. How's the situation here? Sima Yue asked. My father and the rest had already made preparations. Although this battle was a little difficult, but to fight with our Armament Masters Guild, the pressure of our spirit artifacts would be enough to crush them to death. That's why we didn't lose many people. Instead, we took them down. Xiao Hong smiled proudly. But there are still many injured. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. The pills from the Alchemist Guild and the spiritual weapons from the Blacksmith Guild were all used to suppress others with quantity. She had long guessed that the Armament Master would not have not considered this and would definitely have made preparations. Knowing that the current situation was not bad, she had nothing to worry about. Is there anything we can help with? Sima Yue asked. That's true. Xiao Hong said, although not many of us died, many of us were injured. Everyone was more or less injured last night, including our alchemist. We don't have enough healing pills right now. Bei Gong and the others are alchemists. Can they help us refine some pills? All right. Bei Gong Tang nodded. She could still refine some pills. Sima Yue was depressed. She had no spiritual energy now, so she couldn't help even if she wanted to. She took out a spatial ring and said, this is a healing pill that I usually refine. Take it for emergency use. If it's not enough, I'll refine more. We have some here too. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei took out the pills that they had accumulated. Xiao Hong took the 3 spatial rings and said, I'll continue with this, so I won't stand on ceremony with you guys. If you manage to refine any healing pills, inform me and I'll send someone over to get them. All right. Then I'll take these pills first. You guys should go back too. The situation isn't settled yet, and it's not safe. Xiao Hong said, when I'm done with these 2 days, I'll go and look for you guys. We know. Go ahead. Sima Yue said. Okay, then I'll go. Xiao Hong took the 3 spatial rings and entered the banquet hall from last night. There should be more injured people inside. The injured people were treating their wounds while the uninjured guards were cleaning up the corpses. Sima Yue and the rest walked around, but there was nothing interesting to see, so they returned to the small courtyard. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei returned to their own house to refine pills. The others wanted to talk to Sima Yue about what happened last night, but she was pulled away by Mou. Is this Mou a major power of the ghost race or not? Why do you like drinking tea so much? Fatty Chu complained as he looked at their backs. You should be glad that he likes to drink tea. Sima Yulin said. That's true. Fatty Chu sighed, but if this goes on, Yue will have enough of drinking tea. If you go to the ghost realm in the future, you will be a good helper. Sima Yulin said. But I'm afraid that he'll be a different person in the ghost realm. Fatty Chu didn't believe Mou at all. So we have to work hard to pull him over. Sima Yulin said, but I feel that You's relationship with him has improved. The two of them really feel like friends. I think so too. Wei Ziqi said, Yue will only be so accommodating to her friends and family. You saw the look in You's eyes when they left just now. That's the kind of look she has for her friends. I just don't know how Mou treats her. I think it's not bad. Didn't you see that when he heard that someone had sneaked in yesterday, he immediately came to pick up Yue? If he didn't care about her, he wouldn't have come personally. Wei Ziqi analyzed. That's true too. I didn't expect that in just a few days, they would turn from murderous and defensive to friends. Sima Yulin sighed. They both like to drink tea and have a common hobby. They'll be closer to each other. Maybe. But this time, Mou didn't let Sima Yue drink tea. Instead, he brought her out of the city. Sima Yue saw that they were suddenly outside the city and asked curiously, why did you bring me here? Didn't you say that you didn't know the identity of those people? I brought you to see their corpses. Mou said. You killed all those people? Sima Yue asked curiously. It was too noisy in the city yesterday, so I came out of the city for some peace and quiet. I didn't expect to be disturbed by them. Mou said, then I casually got rid of them. Based on past experience, they definitely won't leave any clues on their bodies. Sima Yue said. You won't know until you try. Mou brought her to the place where he killed yesterday and found the corpses. Sima Yue saw the corpses and didn't think it would have any effect. After all, when she saw their clothes, she was sure that they were from the same force as before. She also guessed that there wouldn't be any clues on the corpses. But she still went up to check. Not for anything else, but for Mou's sake. During these few days of talking about tea, they also talked about many other things. Sima Yue once mentioned something about this. She remembered that she only mentioned it a little and didn't show much concern. But she didn't expect that he remembered it all and even kept the corpses after killing them. But the result was as she guessed. These people didn't leave anything behind. There wasn't a single useful clue. And because they had been dead for almost a day, she couldn't read their memories. There's nothing. Sima Yue said, and I can't read their memories. These corpses are useless. Then I'll collect their souls and ask. Mou said. Collect their souls? Sima Yue looked at him in shock. These souls have already gone to the world of spirits and souls. How can I collect their souls? I left their souls behind. Mou said. What do you mean by that? Their souls are still in their bodies. Mou explained patiently, when I killed them, I trapped their souls in their bodies. They didn't come out. You can do that? Do all the people in the world of spirits and souls know how to do that? Sima Yue looked at him in surprise. Others don't know, but I do. This is my own creation. Mou said, if you're interested, call me master. I can teach you. Do you think the possibility of that is high? It shouldn't be small. Mou said, although this underworld technique isn't very useful, the other underworld techniques are. Without that underworld technique, it's useless even if you have a soul. What underworld technique? Soul trapping technique. This book came from. Chapter 1252. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor Chapter 1, Soul Technique Genre, Wuxia Cultivation Author, Fan Gumu Book Title, Soul Technique? Sima Yue blinked, hearing this name. It should be a very powerful underworld technique. Everyone, please search for the most complete version. It's the fastest. Of course it's very powerful. This is one of the top underworld techniques in the ghost realm. How about it, do you want to learn it? As long as you call me master, I'll teach you. Mou tempted. Sima Yuyue had never learned any underworld techniques, even when she was with her cousin, she had never thought of learning this. Now that she suddenly heard him say this, her heart was itching, and she wanted to try out the underworld technique. However, if she had to call him master, then she would rather not learn it. I can't even use my spiritual energy now, how can I learn it? I think you'll be gone by the time I recover my spiritual energy. How about this, you write down the method of this underworld technique for me, and when I recover my spiritual energy, I'll follow this method to learn it, how about that? Nothing much. This underworld technique of mine can only be passed down orally, it can't be recorded in a book. Mou said, furthermore, I've checked your body, although your rare light devil body makes it difficult for you, it's not without its benefits. For example, at this moment, your spiritual energy is sealed and you can't use it, then you can use your dark spiritual energy, it'll work too. That works too. Sima Yuyue widened her eyes, she had never thought of this problem. You've always sealed your dark energy, because you thought that your body wouldn't be able to take it, so after your spiritual energy was sealed, you didn't think of releasing your dark energy, so naturally you didn't think of this method. Mou said. Sima Yuyue agreed with what he said, she really didn't think of this point, so she never thought of releasing her dark energy. Mou's words moved her, the days without spiritual energy were really boring. But at the same time, she was a little worried. If she released the dark energy, would something unexpected happen? For example, her body wouldn't be able to withstand it. She told him about her worries. Mou chuckled and said, you were afraid that you couldn't bear it before because the two powers conflicted with each other. But now, the situation is different. Your light power is equivalent to having no light at all. Naturally, there won't be any conflict. Really? I'll go back and give it a try. Sima Yuyue chuckled. But even so, I can't call you master. You don't have to come to a conclusion now. Once you understand the power of this grasping spirit technique, you will naturally want to learn it from me. Mou said confidently. If you are willing to call me master when it comes to tea ceremony, then I don't mind calling you master too. Sima Yuyue said, after all, we are talking about tea first, you can call me master first. Calling her master? How was that possible? Do you know how many people in the ghost realm want to be my disciple? Now that I've given you this opportunity, you don't want it. Then you don't know how many people in the human world want to be my disciple. Now that I've given you this opportunity, you don't want it either. Sima Yuyue retorted. What a sharp-tongued girl. Alright, let's get down to business first. You can also show off your grasping spirit technique. Maybe it's too powerful and it will attract me. She urged. Then watch carefully. This grasping spirit technique is not only useful for the soul and the body, it is also useful for all the souls in the world. Mou said. Then isn't it comparable to the grasping spirit technique? Sima Yuyue said in astonishment. The grasping spirit technique here was not used to train her own soul, but was a method of refining the soul of the ghost clan. You know about the grasping spirit technique? I mentioned it to the people from the ghost clan in the immortal land. Sima Yuyue casually explained, is your grasping spirit technique the same as the grasping spirit technique? Of course not. Mou denied, my grasping spirit technique is mainly used to control their souls, allowing me to use them when their consciousness is awake. This is a more legitimate underworld technique. But the grasping spirit technique is different. What's the difference? The biggest difference between the grasping spirit technique and the grasping spirit technique is that the grasping spirit technique will retain the consciousness of the soul, while the grasping spirit technique will completely erase the soul's consciousness, turning them into walking corpses. Mou explained. Aren't they both used to control the soul? To those souls, they will lose their freedom. There's no difference. Sima Yuyue said. Of course it's different. Once the grasping spirit technique is stopped, those souls will regain their freedom. But the souls that have been refined by the grasping spirit technique will not be able to do so. Mou retorted. But, since you've already started to control those souls, those who practice the grasping spirit technique, even if it's someone like you, won't let them go easily. Sima Yue guessed, if that's the case, what's the difference? That's where you don't understand. Do you know what's the most common in the ghost realm? It's not the ghost clan, but the souls. Mou said, if you learn this, you'll have a lot more power in the ghost realm in the future. Even without this, I have a way to deal with those souls. Sima Yue snorted. The 100 ghost banner in her hands was the biggest nemesis to those souls. No matter if you were grasped by the grasping spirit technique or refined by the grasping spirit technique, as long as you meet the 100 ghost banner, you'll have to surrender obediently. Of course, she could not let him know about this. What can you do? You did not want to believe her words. You'd better learn the grasping spirit technique from me. Watch carefully. He came in front of those corpses, waved his hand, and a ripple appeared on his body, as if the power that restrained the souls had disappeared. Sima Yue could see faint shadows slowly appearing, and seeing that they were about to go to the ghost realm, Mou formed a seal with both hands, and those souls stopped moving. How is it? He asked her. Not bad. There's a rule for souls to go to the ghost realm after death, and you can actually make the souls resist this rule. This shows that you're really powerful. Sima Yue said, but this won't help us in investigating this matter, right? The newly formed souls did not have much power, and those souls looked very ignorant, not knowing that they were already souls. You're not thinking of interrogating their souls, are you? Sima Yue asked. I've heard that after people go to the ghost realm, they won't remember what happened before they died, and it's equivalent to starting from scratch. Even if you capture their souls, you won't be able to get anything out of them, because they don't even know what happened before. Who said I'm going to ask? If you don't ask, then how are you going to get the information we want? Just wait and see. In your words, the time to witness a miracle is coming. Your arrival is the greatest support for us. If you like it, then introduce more friends. Chapter 1253. When Sima Yue heard what he said, she couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. She had once said this when she was brewing tea, but now that it came out of his mouth, it felt weird. But she didn't have much time to think. Mou formed a seal with both his hands and rays of black light flew towards those souls, trapping them. Something that surprised him happened. Those souls slowly dissipated, turning into specks of light. Following that, scenes started to appear one after another. When Sima Yue saw those scenes and heard those people's conversation, she was completely shocked. She couldn't see those people's faces clearly, but she could hear their voices. They were actually saying that other than the Alchemist Guild and the Armament Master Guild, they were also planning to attack other guilds. But even so, there wasn't any more news about that force. It seemed like these people weren't any core members. But after getting this news, it was enough for her to digest for a while. Those scenes disappeared, those specks of light also dissipated. This meant that these people's souls were gone, and they wouldn't have the chance to go to the ghost realm. How is it? Isn't this useful? Mou tempted, do you want to learn? Sima Yue kept her thoughts and said, this is indeed powerful, but it's not useful to me. It'll be useful when you go to the ghost realm in the future. Mou said, you can't possibly go to the ghost realm to learn underworld skills, plus you can use dark spiritual energy now, why don't you learn it now? What you said makes sense, but I can't call you master. You haven't called me master when you're learning how to brew tea from me. Sima Yue was still conflicted about this. Don't you want to learn? Mou was about to lose his patience. She kept rejecting. He kept wanting to teach her. If she continued to reject, he would really have to promise her. I can learn even if I don't want to be your disciple. Sima Yue said, we can talk about tea ceremony. Naturally we can talk about underworld skills. Right? The two of them discussed for half a day, and in the end, Mou gave in and agreed to teach her underworld skills, but he wouldn't take her in as his disciple. If you become my disciple, when you go to the ghost realm in the future, no one will dare to touch you. Mo Yu looked at her as if she didn't want to take advantage of it. Sima Yuyue smiled and said, "When I go to the world of spirits and souls, you will be the same in the world of spirits and souls. I believe that if I ask for your help, you will help me. In the eyes of others, I'm from the Anaheim side. You and Anaheim have a child's enmity." Mo Yu said. "But you're not." Sima Yuyue said, "But, with your identity, you should know about my mother, right?" "I know a little, but I wasn't involved in what happened back then, so I don't know much." "Then can you tell me what you know?" "Actually, it was the Ghost King who brought your mother back. After that, some people went to cause a ruckus and demanded that your mother be executed. But in the end, it seems like he was locked up." Sima Yuyue compared it to what Deja said. Both of them said the same thing, so it should be true. "Then do you know where my mother is locked up?" "The Abyss." Mo Yu said, "But I'm not sure." "Cousin said so too, so it should be true." Sima Yuyue said, "Seems like it won't be easy to save my mother. Even the Ghost King doesn't dare to step into that place. If you want to save your mother, you'll probably have to wait for another 1,000 years." Mo Yu said. "I won't let my mother suffer there for so long." Sima Yuyue said, "I will save her." Mo Yu saw her determined gaze. Although he felt that she wouldn't be able to do it, he believed her a little. "If that's the case, then you should learn the underworld skills. When you get there, there will be very little light attribute spiritual energy. After using it, you won't be able to replenish it well. It's useless no matter how strong you are. I'll go back and tell them about this, then try to release the dark energy. If it's possible, I'll learn some underworld skills from you," Sima Yuyue said. The two of them returned to the city and went to find He Chendong. They told him about the news and asked him to inform the other guilds to be careful. Then, they returned to their courtyard. If it wasn't because they came back from outside, no one would know that they went out. Sima Yuyue didn't confirm if He Chendong spread the news. With her current strength and identity, she couldn't care less. She asked Bai Xing to send a copy of the news back to Heartbreak Valley so that the people in Heartbreak Valley could be more careful. Then, she sent a copy of the news to Heavenly Sect to Mao Sen Quan, and another copy to the Alchemist Guild and Alchemy Guild. The three powerhouses who received the news took it seriously, especially the Alchemist Guild. It clearly said that they would make a move on them. They didn't know if this move was referring to the alchemy competition, so they couldn't let down their guard. They had to strengthen their defenses. Heartbreak Valley and Heavenly Sect paid close attention to their surroundings, afraid that they would be dragged in by those powerhouses. After telling them the news, Sima Yuyue didn't need to deal with the other matters. So when everyone else was busy, she was free again. Mo Yu left and she came to the Spirit Pagoda alone. "I'll try to release the dark attribute spirit energy in a while and temporarily replace the light attribute. If there's any danger in the process, you have to suppress the dark spirit energy." Sima Yuyue called all the beasts in front of her and warned. "Yu, don't worry. We won't let anything happen to you," Little Dream said. "That's right, if there's anything, Ching Yi is here," Little Seven agreed. In the entire Spirit Pagoda, or rather in the entire world, only she could order Ching Yi around so confidently. Sima Yuyue sat cross-legged and sank her consciousness into her body. Following her meridians, she came to the Dantian. The dark energy had been moved to the Dantian a long time ago. Although it was sealed, it would still release dark aura from time to time to compete with the surrounding spirit energy. Now that the other powers were still like stagnant water, only the dark energy was still churning slightly. The Heavenly Tao has sealed all the other powers, but this sealed power of darkness was overlooked. She sighed and left the Dantian. She found the place where the dark energy was sealed, found the crack in the seal and guided the dark energy out. Little Seven and the others looked at her nervously. They could clearly feel that her aura was changing. Slowly, it was enveloped by the dark aura. Then, the aura was retracted. She was still the same as before, nothing had changed. Seeing her open her eyes, everyone anxiously asked, "Yu, did you fail?" Sima Yue smiled. With a flip of her right hand, a ball of black spirit energy appeared in her palm. Chapter 1254. Seeing the power in her palm, everyone's eyes lit up. Is this a success? Sima Yue nodded her head and directed her spiritual energy towards a place where there was no one. A crater was formed on the ground. If you don't have any underworld skills and only use spiritual energy, your strength won't be good, she said with some dissatisfaction. Didn't Mo say that he would teach you underworld techniques? Then let him teach you more. Little Roar, who was in Little Dream's embrace, suggested. We'll see. Sima Yue said, but I think I can fly now. She tried, and sure enough, she flew up again. After circling once in the air, she returned to the ground and pinched her fingers, saying, It's still better to have spirit energy in my body, that's for certain. Otherwise, why would I want to cultivate? Little Seven said. Alright, I'll head out first. When Mou comes, he will be able to learn the underworld technique. She went outside and began to practice controlling dark spirit energy on her own. Because of the spirit pagoda concealing her aura, as long as she didn't deliberately release it or use spirit energy, others wouldn't be able to sense her aura and wouldn't know that she had dark spirit energy again. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei continued to refine pills for an entire day. Both of their success rates were very high, so after a day, they managed to refine over 100 pills. In the evening, He Chendong sent someone to collect the pills. He also told Sima Yue that he had already passed on the message to the other unions. Some of the forces that had an ordinary relationship with the refiners began to leave after 2 days. Only those who were more familiar with the refiners would stay to see if there was anything they needed help with. The Armament Masters Guild didn't ask them to stay either. The situation now was a little special. The people in the Armament Master City were getting more and more chaotic. If some of the people who weren't familiar with walked around, the pressure on them would lessen. Sima Yue wanted to leave as well, but Xiao Hong said that the people from the Sage Pavilion and the Wu clan had not left yet. The union was also very busy. If they left now, they could not guarantee her safety. They insisted that they stay for a while longer before leaving. Furthermore, they still wanted to ask Ouyang Fei and Bei Gong Tang to continue refining some pills. Sima Yue discussed with everyone. They also felt that it was too dangerous to leave now, so they agreed with Xiao Hong that they would leave in a few days. Since everyone agreed, Sima Yue did not insist and agreed to leave after they were done with their work. After Mou came, she told him her plan. She originally thought that he would leave with the Jun family first. She didn't expect that he would directly inform the Jun family to go back by himself. He wouldn't be with them. Sima Yue saw that he made the decision without hesitation and guessed that he had already guessed this before he came. You've already released your dark spiritual energy? Mou asked when he saw the faint aura emitting from Sima Yue's body. If you can tell, I've already hidden my aura very well. Sima Yue said. You did indeed hide it, so people who haven't reached my level wouldn't be able to discover it. Mou said, then, let's start today. Other than the grasping spirit technique, I'll teach you some other underworld skills. Sima Yue looked at him cautiously when she heard what he said. I already felt that it was a little strange when you said that you wanted to teach me the grasping spirit technique yesterday. Now, you actually want to teach me other skills. Why do I feel that you have other intentions? Oh. Tell me, what other intentions could I have? Mou smiled faintly, not minding what she said. If I knew, would I still ask you? Sima Yue said. You're so smart, can't you guess? You're an old fellow who has lived for at least 8,000 years. How can I guess what you're thinking? Sima Yue said, why don't you just tell me directly? You're still saying that you're not smart. You've already guessed my age. Mou said. Damn, it can't be. You're really that old. Sima Yue looked at him with her mouth wide open. She was just exaggerating just now. She didn't expect to get it right. No wonder this fellow could become a powerful being. If he really wanted to kill her back then, she reckoned that only Ching-yi would be able to save her. Look at me, am I old? Mou asked. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing his black face, she quickly shook her head and giggled, "You're so young, hee hee. One look and I can tell that you'll always be a 16-year-old flower." Mou looked at her fawning face and stretched out his hand to flick her forehead. "Actually, you're right. I do have other intentions when I teach you this." Sima Yue's attention was diverted. She didn't pursue the matter of him flicking her forehead. "I knew that my instincts wouldn't be wrong. Why are you so eager to teach me underworld skills?" Mou didn't say much. He only muttered, "The world of spirits and souls is going to be in chaos." The world of spirits and souls could be said to be the most chaotic among the human, devil and ghost realms. There were more killings than the other two realms. It was because of this that the world of spirits and souls could accommodate countless souls. It was also because of this that the world of spirits and souls could never be saturated. Because there were too many deaths, the numbers that came later might not be enough to cover the number that died. When Mou said that the world of spirits and souls was going to be in chaos, it was obviously not a small matter. If the powerful being of the world of spirits and souls was concerned about it, it must be something big. Sima Yue had spiritual energy. Her hearing had recovered. When she heard what he said, she asked curiously, "I'm from the human realm. Even if I'm going to save my mother in the future, it won't cause too much chaos, right? What does the chaos in the world of spirits and souls have to do with me? Why are you teaching me underworld skills? You'll know when the time comes." Mou kept her in suspense. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him and said, "You're even learning from those divinators." Hee hee. Mou chuckled. When a person reaches a certain level, they can sense the heavenly Tao. It's not surprising that they can sense the future. This is different from what the divinators can predict. It's because of this that I can sense the chaos in the world of spirits and your role in that chaos. He added in his heart. However, it was also because he could only sense and was not as accurate as the divinators. He only knew that Sima Yue was very important, but he could not predict her role in that chaos. Sima Yue knew about this situation, so she did not comment on what he said. "Then when did you sense it? Did you not want to kill me from the beginning?" Unexpectedly, Mou shook his head and said, "Although we can sense some things, we can only sense it after we come into contact with it. I only realized it 2 days ago." "Then can you tell me where the chaos came from? When and what's the cause?" Sima Yue asked. Regarding this, Mou still shook his head. "I can only see the fire in the sky, the endless mountain of corpses, and the rolling death aura. I can't see anything else clearly." Chapter 1255. Doting Wife, 5th Miss Miracle Doctor Chapter, Soul Control Technique Category, Wuxia Cultivation Author, Fan Elderwood Book Title, Soul Control Technique? Sima Yue blinked. It sounds like a very powerful netherworld skill. Please search for the most complete version. The fastest update. Of course it's very powerful. This is one of the top netherworld skills in the world of spirits and souls. How about it, do you want to learn it? As long as you call me master, I'll teach it to you. Mou tempted her. Sima Yue had never learned netherworld skills before. Even when she was with her cousin, she had never thought of learning it. Now that she suddenly heard him say that, her heart itched. She wanted to try out the netherworld skill. However, if she had to call him master, then she would rather not learn it. "I can't use my spiritual power now, how can I learn it? You'll probably be gone by the time I recover my spiritual power. How about this, you write down the method of this netherworld skill for me. When I recover my spiritual power, I'll learn it according to this method." How about that? Not much. My netherworld technique can only be passed down orally and cannot be recorded in books. Mou said, "What's more, I've checked your body. Although your rare light demon body makes things difficult for you, it's not without its benefits. For example, right now, your spiritual power is sealed and you can't use it. You can use your dark spiritual power. It'll work. That works? Sima Yoyue's eyes widened. She had never thought of this problem. You've been sealing your dark power because you thought that your body wouldn't be able to bear it. So after your spiritual power was sealed, you never thought of releasing your dark power. Naturally, you never thought of this method, Mo said. Sima Yue agreed with his statement. She had never thought of this point, so she had never thought of releasing the power of darkness. She was a little tempted by Mo's words. Days without spiritual power were really boring. However, at the same time, she was a little worried. If she released her dark power, would something unexpected happen? For example, her body wouldn't be able to bear it. She voiced out her worries. Mo chuckled and said, previously, you were afraid that you wouldn't be able to bear it because of the conflict between the two powers. However, the situation is different now. Your light power is as good as nothing, so naturally, there won't be any conflict. Is that so? Then I'll go back and try. Sima Yue chuckled. Even so, it's impossible for me to call you master. You don't have to come to a conclusion now. When you understand the power of the soul carving technique, you'll naturally want to learn from me, Mo said confidently. If you're willing to call me master during the tea ceremony, then I don't mind calling you master, Sima Yue said. After all, we're talking about tea first. Let's hear it first. Call her master? How could that be? Do you know how many people in the ghost realm want to be my disciple? I'm giving you this chance now, but you don't want it. Then do you know how many people in the mortal world want to be my disciple? I'm giving you this chance now, but you don't want it either, do you? Sima Yue retorted. What a sharp-tongued girl. Alright, let's get down to business first. You can also show off your soul carving technique. Maybe it's so powerful that I'm attracted to it. She urged. Then watch carefully. This soul carving technique is not only effective on the soul and the body, but also on all the souls in the world, Mo said. Isn't it comparable to the soul carving technique? Sima Yue asked in surprise. The soul carving technique here was not referring to her training of her soul, but a method of refining souls of the ghost clan. You know about the soul carving technique? I mentioned it to the ghost clan when I was in the immortal realm, Sima Yue explained casually. Is your soul carving technique the same as the soul carving technique? Of course it's different. Mo denied. My soul carving technique is mainly used to control their souls, allowing them to be used by me while their divine senses are awake. This is a more legitimate netherworld technique. But the soul carving technique is different. What's the difference? The biggest difference between the soul carving technique and the soul carving technique is that the soul carving technique will keep the soul awake, while the soul carving technique will completely erase the divine senses of the soul, turning them into a walking corpse, Mo explained. Aren't they both used to control souls? For those souls, it's a loss of freedom. There's no difference, Sima Yue said. Of course it's different. Once the soul carving technique stops, those souls will regain their freedom. But souls that have been refined by the soul carving technique won't work, Mo retorted. But you've already started to control those souls. Those who practice the soul carving technique, even if they're like you, won't let them go easily. Sima Yue guessed. If that's the case, what's the difference between having it and not having it? You don't understand. Do you know what's the most abundant in the ghost realm? It's not the ghost clan, but soul bodies, Mo said. If you learn this, it'll be equivalent to having a lot more power in the ghost realm in the future. Even without this, I have a way to deal with those souls. Sima Yue snorted. The 100 ghost streamer in her hand was the greatest nemesis to those ghosts. Whether they were captured by the soul carving technique or refined by the soul carving technique, as long as they encountered the 100 ghost streamer, they would have to surrender obediently. Of course, this was something she could not let him know. What can you do? Mo did not want to believe her. You'd better learn the soul carving technique from me. Watch carefully. He came to the front of those corpses and waved his hand. His body emitted a ripple, as if the power that had previously bound the souls had disappeared. Sima Yuyue could see a faint shadow slowly emerging. Just as it was about to head to the ghost realm, Emu formed a seal with both hands, and those souls froze in place. How is it? He asked her. Not bad. There is a rule that souls go to the ghost realm after death, and you can actually make the souls resist this rule. It shows that you are indeed powerful, Sima Yuyue said. But this is not helpful for us to investigate this matter, is it? The newly formed soul body did not have much power, and those few souls still looked very ignorant, not knowing that they were already a soul. You are not thinking of interrogating their souls, are you? Sima Yuyue asked. I once heard that after people go to the ghost realm, they will not remember what happened before their death. It is equivalent to starting over from the beginning. Even if you capture their souls, you will not be able to get anything out of them, because they will not know what happened in the past. Who said I want to ask? If you don't ask, how are you going to get the information we want? Just wait and see. In your words, the time to witness a miracle is coming. Your arrival is the greatest support for us. If you like it, please introduce more friends to us. Chapter 1256. The rainbow-colored dendrobium in his hand was gone, and the pain from his wrist made him very angry. You lowly commoner, do you know who I am? I am the alchemist under Venerable Su, Hua Kai. How dare you hurt me? Do you want to be arrested? The alchemist under Venerable Su? Don't joke around, how could there be someone like you under her? Sima Yuyue shook her head, not believing his words. You are just a lowly commoner, how would you know about Venerable Su? If you don't want to be arrested, then obediently hand over the rainbow-colored dendrobium, then kneel on the ground and kowtow to me 3 times. Call me grandfather, then I will let you go. Hua Kai raised his chin, looking like he was giving alms. What if I don't? Sima Yuyue sneered. Then I can only arrest you on the charge of looking down on Venerable Su. When the time comes, you will become slaves and never see the light of day. Hua Kai threatened her. The shop assistant kindly reminded her, Master Hua is indeed the alchemist under Venerable Su. Why don't you give the rainbow-colored dendrobium to him? Humph. Hua Kai raised his arrogant chin and turned his head to the side, waiting for her to give him the rainbow-colored dendrobium and then kneel down to apologize. But after waiting for a while, he did not see any movement from her. He turned his head and saw that she had no intention of apologizing at all. She was taking out the herbs from the tray, placing them on the counter and asking someone to settle the bill for her. He could not tolerate this anymore. He was really angry. He walked to the stairs and called the guards downstairs, wanting to arrest them. At the same time, he threatened, let me tell you, if I don't agree, they won't dare to sell the herbs to you. The shop assistant took the herbs and indeed had no intention of settling the bill. What right do you have? Sima Yuyue's face darkened. After meeting such a person, she lost all her mood. Just because of my identity and your lowly commoner status. Since you are here, you should be aware that lowly commoners have no right. Hua Kai looked at her change of expression with satisfaction. These people looked down on Venerable Su and spoke rudely. Arrest them. When the guards who had just arrived heard that these people were looking down on Venerable Su, they didn't ask anything and immediately came to arrest them. Wu Lingyu would not allow anyone to touch Sima Yuyue. He moved as soon as they moved. Before those people could get close to her, they all fell to the ground. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't even see how he moved. They only felt that he disappeared for a while. How did everyone fall down? When the shop assistant saw this, he moved his lips, but he felt something stuck in his throat, and he couldn't say anything. Do you still want to buy it? Wu Lingyu looked at her and asked. Yes, why not? Sima Yuyue calculated the total price according to the price she saw before. She took the crystal and put it on the counter. Then, she put away the herbs and left. Only after they left did the crowd react. The guests left one after another to avoid being implicated. The shop assistant didn't dare to leave. The shopkeeper personally came to apologize. He said a lot of things and gave the shop assistant a lot of things before the shop assistant left. It was tiring to meet someone who wasn't afraid of death. If a few more came, they would go bankrupt. What's the background of those people? They don't even put Venerable Sue in their eyes? The shop assistant was puzzled. He saw clearly just now that these people didn't have the slightest fear when they heard Venerable Sue, nor did they submit. They really didn't put Hua Kai and Venerable Sue in their eyes. What kind of background and strength did they have to be able to look down on everything like this? No matter what background they have, they're not people we can afford to offend. The shopkeeper said. These people didn't look like ordinary people. If they met them in other places, they would treat it as a good show. However, when they met them, they could only feel stifled. Shopkeeper, Master Hua won't come looking for trouble with us, right? The shop assistant asked. No, we're Venerable Nyo's shop. Although the accident happened in our shop, we've apologized. The two venerables don't interfere with each other's business. If they want to cause trouble, they have to think twice. The shopkeeper said, send someone to investigate the background of these people. Yes. He still had to find a chance to get back today's losses. Sima Yuyue wasn't in the mood to shop anymore. She walked around for a while and went back. Soon, Venerable Sue's people caught up and surrounded the entire inn. These people came so quickly. Fushi curled his lips. I wanted to go out and check on Silmer's situation, but I didn't expect to attract Su Wu's people. Sima Yuyue sighed. Then let's fight back. Wu Lingyu said. It's a waste of energy. Sima Yuyue didn't want to fight. They've already come knocking on our door. It's not up to you to decide. Fushi said. That's true. Then let's fight all of them away. Sima Yuyue sighed. In the end, it was Wu Lingyu who attacked. Dozens of guards were all sent flying, attracting the attention of the entire Minghai city. Previously, only a few people had seen what had happened. Now, everyone knew that there was an audacious person living here. They actually dared to send all of Su Wu's people flying. These people didn't want to live anymore. When Di Jojo heard the news, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. This little ancestor, if you want to save someone, you have to keep a low profile. Now that you're so high profile, they'll be on guard. But what could he say? He couldn't say anything. He could only lead his men to protect the inn. Chapter 1257. Read 336. Just as Sima Yuyue was about to go crazy, the sound from the sound stone finally disappeared. This guild leader is really something. It's been so many years, and you're still not serious. Pfft, Xiaohong laughed even harder when she saw Sima Yuyue's reaction. She couldn't stop laughing while holding her stomach. Yuyue, I've seen the president of the Alchemist Guild before, but I didn't expect him to be so funny. The way he talks to you, ha ha ha, alright, stop laughing, Sima Yuyue said weakly. Do you know about the alliance that the president mentioned? I know. Moreover, I plan to follow my father to take a look. Xiaohong said. Since her identity was already known to everyone, she might as well stop pretending and openly admit her identity as the guild's young miss. You're going too? Yeah. Xiaohong nodded. That dark force has provoked the major guilds time and time again. We have our temper too. Moreover, we are not to be trifled with. This time, the trade unions have decided to retaliate, so they have decided to join forces and find out who is behind this. This was clearly her father's succession ceremony, but these people had messed it up. In addition, the previous president had been very good to her and had watched her grow up. However, he had been killed by those people. Now, she hated those people to the core. Of course, she would participate in such an event. Since those people dared to touch your guilds, I think they have the guts to do so. Sima Yue said, and I think they also guessed that you would join forces to deal with them. To be able to make a move against you in such a situation, I think the other party's strength must not be simple. My father said the same thing. Xiao Hong said, but no matter who they are, even if they are from the hidden families, we will not let them off. Yes. If you find out, you can call us if you need help. Although my Heartbreak Valley was established not long ago, we can still provide manpower to make up the numbers. Sima Yue said. What do you mean by contributing manpower? Do you think I don't know about Heartbreak Valley? All of you are brave and good at fighting. If you really need people, your people's battle power is definitely enough to fight against 10 people. Xiao Hong smiled. Since President Xia invited you, why don't you come with us to Red Tinted City? Me? Sima Yue thought of Xia Changtian and quickly shook her head. No, I still have to go back to Heartbreak Valley. I heard that the Sage Pavilion and Wu's people, they're waiting for you to go out and kill you to kill them to kill you. Xiao Hong said to say. Once you leave the Armament City, they won't give us any face. If you can come with us and see that my father and the others are here, they might restrain themselves a little. It's okay. They want to kill me, but I want to kill them too. Sima Yue said. Since she was now able to use dark spiritual energy, this little realm would naturally be able to be opened. There were hundreds of thousands of Blood Fiend City citizens inside, and all of them were fugitives. Would they still be afraid of the Sage Pavilion and the Wu clan? At this moment, Bai Xing opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he swallowed it back. However, Sima Yue noticed him. Xiao Hong still wanted Sima Yue to go with them, but Sima Yue looked at Bai Sheng and said she would think about it. Then she went back. After Xiao Hong left, Sima Yue looked at Bai Sheng and asked, Old Bai, what did you want to say just now? If it's possible, we can go to the Eastern Ridge to take a look. Bai Sheng said. What happened? Is it about Lu Yangkai? Sima Yue asked. With Bai Sheng's character, if nothing happened, he wouldn't say something like that. Bai Sheng nodded. A few days ago, I received news from the valley that something happened at the Eastern Ridge. The people we sent were all missing. Oh. That's weird. Sima Yue frowned. Heartbreak Valley's people were more powerful. Although they weren't invincible, it wasn't to the extent that there was no news at all. What's the valley's decision? Sima Yue asked. Valley Lord has already brought Feng Ji and the others over. Bai Xing said. Originally, Valley Lord told me that you don't have spirit energy, so I can't tell you about this. But now that you can use dark spirit energy, I think we can go and take a look. Also, Fair Eastern City where Liang Kai and the others went missing is not far from Red Tinted City. Sima Yue hesitated. If something really happened in Fair Eastern City, it might affect the guild. Although she said she didn't want to see Xia Changtian, that shameless old man, she still had feelings for the Alchemist Guild. Why would the Guild Alliance go to the Eastern Ridge? Sima Yue asked. Maybe it's because the Array Master Guild and Spirit Master Guild are in the Eastern Ridge. Bai Xing said. But we don't know the exact reason. Maybe it's related to Fair Eastern City. That's possible too. While discussing about the alliance, they're also dealing with Fair Eastern City. Also, I think the possibility is higher. Otherwise, they wouldn't choose such a nearby city. Sima Yue guessed. It was also because she had been learning dark skills from MOU for the past 2 months and didn't care about the outside world. That was why she didn't know about this. Outside, this matter was already known by everyone in the continent. Then should we go? Fatty Chu asked. Since our people are also missing there, we naturally have to go and take a look. Sima Yue said. Do we go with the Armament Masters Guild? Sima Yue thought about it and shook her head. If they went with the Armament Masters Guild, wouldn't they meet Xia Changtian and the others directly? We'll go by ourselves. Also, before we go, we have to settle something. Sima Yue said. What is it? Everyone looked at her. Of course it's to collect some interest for old Bai. Sima Yue said, aren't those people waiting for us to go out? Then let's go and meet them. Bai Sheng was stunned. He didn't think that she still remembered his matters. And the first thing she did after she recovered her powers was for him. All right. Then we'll pack up and leave. Let's leave tomorrow. I have to talk to Xiao Hong and Uncle He. All right. Xiao Hong and He Chendong knew that they were leaving the next day and were very surprised. They wanted her to go with them. Seeing that she insisted, they could only let her be. But when they asked someone to send her back, she rejected them. The Armament Masters Guild was so busy. She didn't want to trouble them. More importantly, with outsiders present, how were they going to deal with the Sage Pavilion and Wu Clan? So, after saying goodbye, the next morning, she brought them to the teleportation array and went to the city outside. When they appeared in the city, the Sage Pavilion and Wu Clan immediately received the news. Chapter 1258. You have so many tea leaves. You have so many tea leaves. You could not quite accept the mountain of tea leaves in his spatial ring. Who was the one who told him to drink less? I only have so many tea leaves. Sima Yue rubbed her nose and said a little embarrassedly, I naturally have less tea leaves for people I don't have a good relationship with, but I have more tea leaves for friends. You could not help but laugh. This lass was still so calculative. But since she was like this, it meant that she had accepted him. Sima Yue did not explain much. She took out a stone rubbing and placed it on her forehead. After a while, she took it off and said, all the knowledge I know about tea has been rubbed inside. These are all theoretical. You have to brew the tea yourself. This much tea leaves should be enough for you to drink for decades. All right. You took the stone rubbing and placed it on his forehead. All the knowledge drilled into his brain. When are you leaving? Sima Yue asked. I will leave after I send you back. You said, the Jun family sent news that the Sage Pavilion and the Wu family did not leave. They are waiting for you in the city outside. I can't send you back. Are you all right with that? No problem. Sima Yue said. Then let's go back. In order to not cause too much commotion in Weapon Refining City, You had been bringing her outside the city for the past 2 months. Then, he would bring her back. With his strength, it was a piece of cake for him to not be discovered by the people in the city. You sent her back to the small courtyard. Coincidentally, everyone was chatting in the courtyard. When they saw them return, they all stood up. You put Sima Yue down and said, if there's anything, go to the Jun family for help. I understand. Although I don't know why you have to go back personally, and I know that you are very powerful, I still have to remind you to be careful. Sima Yue said, if there's any good tea, I will help you keep it. When the time comes, you can just send someone to get it from me. I will remember that. I will definitely get it from you. You said, I will wait for you in the ghost realm. All right. This time, you did not open a spatial passage. Instead, he directly tore the space apart and flew in. This method was similar to when Wu Lingyu left the immortal realm. After Yu left, Sima Yue walked towards the pavilion where they were sitting. Yue, has Yu returned to the ghost realm? Fatty Chu asked. Yes. Perhaps it was because of the separation, but her mood was not very high. We separated so that we can meet again next time. Bei Gongtang comforted her. Yes, I know. I just felt a little sad for a while, Sima Yue said. By the way, Xiao Hong came to look for you twice in the past 2 days. She heard that you were in seclusion and said that you will inform her when you come out, Wei Ziki said. You said that I was in seclusion. Would she believe such an excuse? Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Why couldn't these guys think of a better excuse? When Xiao Hong came, only Fatty was there. Fatty said that, so we can only continue talking about this. When Sima Yulin said this, there was a smile at the corner of his eyes. Fatty Chu glared at him and said, "When Xiaohong came, I didn't know how to deal with her at all. When she asked where you were, I just blurted it out." "Then she didn't say anything?" Sima Yue sighed. Fatty's mind hadn't changed much after all these years. He was still the silly boy from before. "She seemed to have muttered something at that time, but I didn't really listen. Then she said that she left, so I didn't investigate further," Fatty Chu said. Sima Yue shook her head helplessly. Xiaohong was probably muttering that she didn't even have spiritual power, so how could she be in seclusion? She took out the mother-child stone and injected spiritual power into it. Soon, Xiaohong's voice came from the other side. "Yue, you're out?" "Yes, I just came out. They said that you came to find me, and told me to inform you when I come out." Sima Yue could tell from Xiaohong's tone that she obviously didn't believe that she was in seclusion. "Then I'll come and find you in a while." Xiaohong cut off the connection after saying that. Sima Yue heard that her voice was a little anxious. After a while, she saw her coming in from outside. "Yue." Xiaohong walked over and only calmed down when she saw Sima Yue. "Why are you so flustered? What happened?" Sima Yue asked. "The other guilds have been attacked by a group of men in black for the past 2 months. Xiaohong revealed a shocking news the moment she arrived. "What's the result?" "Because we informed them in advance, they made preparations in advance, so those men in black did not gain the upper hand. But because of the hasty preparation, although they withstood the attack, it wasn't as obvious as our victory," Xiaohong said. After she said that, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. If any of the guilds were to be controlled, it would be a very troublesome problem for the continent. "Those guilds sent people to thank us. When they knew that you informed them in advance, they all said that they wanted to thank you," Xiaohong said. "They sent people to thank you, but you were in seclusion. In addition, every guild has their own matters to attend to, so they left behind a thank you gift and went back. Here, these are their thank you gifts." Xiaohong took out a few space rings. Sima Yue took a look and was overjoyed. There were really a lot of good things inside. Perhaps because they knew that she was an all-round genius, in addition to elixirs and spirit equipment, there were also some rare raw materials in the thank you gifts. There was also a sound stone left by Xia Changtian among the thank you gifts. Sima Yue passed the sound stone to Beigong Tang and asked her to input her spiritual energy. Although she could use dark spiritual energy now, she didn't want Xiaohong to know, so she could only find someone else to do it for her. "Yue, you heartless person. You left for so long and didn't even come back to see us. Have you forgotten about us?" The moment Xia Changtian complained like a little wife, everyone in the courtyard burst into laughter. "Yue, is this really the president of the Alchemist Guild?" Sima Yue's mouth twitched. She really wanted to say that she didn't know him. "However, if you didn't send the news back in advance, we would have been tricked by that group of people again. So, Yue, you still have a guild in your heart." The others couldn't stop laughing. Sima Yue face-bombed, speechless. "Alright, don't look so helpless." Xia Changtian seemed to see her helpless look and said, "I came to find you this time because I have something important to tell you." Sima Yue heard that his tone had changed and thought that he really had something important to tell her. In the end, what he said next completely made her kneel down. "After this incident, a few guilds are very angry. If we don't show our might, they will really think that we are sick cats. So we decided to join forces and fight back." After some discussion, a few guilds decided to form an alliance and discuss things in Dongling Hongqiu City. "Alright, the important matter that I want to talk about is that I will personally go over. If you miss me, you can come and find me." Chapter 1259. Although they didn't know how Sima Yue did it, they knew that it was impossible for them to leave unless they killed their way out. However, could they kill their way out? The answer was that it was impossible. With more than 100 people fighting against more than 1,000 people, and with their strength being lower by a level, how could they survive? Thinking of this, many people's popularity dropped by a notch. Their overall momentum was gone, and many people even went limp. Sima Yuyue, do you really want to shed all pretense of cordiality with the Sage Pavilion? Nalan Lan's master asked in a low voice. Pfft, Sima Yuyue burst out laughing and looked at her as if she was looking at an idiot, saying, Granny, you're already so old, how can you say such childish things? What do you mean by falling out with the Sage Pavilion? When you attacked my people in Weapon Forging City, we already had a falling out, didn't we? Aren't you ashamed to say this now? That's right, ha ha ha. The others laughed in agreement. These people's thoughts were too funny. Besides, if it weren't for the fact that there were only a few of us here today, I don't think you would have said something like that, would you? Maybe we're already a few dried corpses, Sima Yuyue continued. Could it be that we're getting thicker as we get older? Isn't that so? Bei Gong Tang said, it's still better for us to be a little younger, right, Yu? Enough, you too. Nalan Lan berated the two of them. Sima Yuyue, Bei Gong Tang, your mouths are still so venomous even after so many years. Looks like you've been cultivating your mouths all these years. Nalan Lan, we haven't seen each other for so many years, but you haven't changed at all. Bei Gong Tang mocked. Lan, you know them? Reporting to Master, they came from the same place as me. We have had enmity since we were young. Nalan Lan said. Yes, there is indeed a grudge. Sima Yuyue said, ever since the Dongchen Kingdom, you've tried to kill me time and time again. Unfortunately, you've never succeeded. Let's settle all our old scores today. Leave Nalan Lan to me. You can handle the others. Yes, boss. The people of Blood Fiend City still remembered that night, they still remembered the things that happened to her at that time. They still liked to call her boss, even if she was much younger than them and her level was much lower than theirs. I'm going to kill you today too. Nalan Lan glared at Sima Yuyue, her eyes filled with killing intent. Then let's see who kills who today. Sima Yuyue sneered, turned around and ran towards the back. Nalan Lan chased after them and the people from Blood Fiend City didn't stop her, allowing her to smoothly pass through the encirclement. Since Yuyue wanted to deal with her personally, they would not interfere. This Nalan Lan would definitely not be able to escape today. Sima Yuyue continued to fly. She did not need to care about what happened behind her, she just needed to get rid of Nalan Lan. Nalan Lan chased after her until she was dozens of kilometers away. When she saw her stop, she flew over. Once she got close to Sima Yuyue, she felt that the space around her was different. What did you do? She looked at Sima Yuyue, guessing if she did something to the space. You've been in the Sage Pavilion for so many years, have you ever heard of territory? Sima Yuyue floated in the air with a smile on her face. Her long skirt was flying, but other than where she was, there was no wind at all. Nalan Lan had gained quite a bit of knowledge in the Sage Pavilion over the years. She knew that people above the Paragon rank could comprehend a spirit realm, but she didn't expect that someone who was 2 years younger than her could comprehend a spirit realm. No, she didn't believe it. Even if there was a person with heaven-defying talent in this world, it wouldn't be her. I comprehended this territory when I was in Qinyi's body. I heard that you comprehended Dao when you were in his body. It's a pity that my senior sister stole your most important heart. Sima Yuyue said something that made her vomit blood. That woman is your senior sister? Nalan Lan clenched her fist. Why did it turn out like this? Sima Yuyue suppressed her in every way, even the Dao that she comprehended with great difficulty was stolen by her senior sister. Was Sima Yuyue really sent by the heavens to subdue her? No. She couldn't bear to let Sima Yuyue continue living in this world. When she saw Sima Yuyue, her heart felt worse than being bitten by thousands of ants. Yes, my senior sister said that she got your Dao for nothing. She was really embarrassed. She said that when I see you, I must thank you properly. Sima Yuyue said gratefully, but I think that you won't accept her thanks. I'm going to kill you. Nalan Lan was provoked by her words. She condensed her spirit energy and attacked Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked at her spirit energy ball and wasn't anxious at all. When the spirit energy ball came close, she waved her hand and a black barrier blocked the spirit energy outside. Nalan Lan saw the black barrier and exclaimed, "Dark spirit energy. You're a dark spirit master." Sima Yue waved her hand and the barrier disappeared. She looked at the shocked Nalan Lan and said, "Actually, I don't even need to use my domain to deal with you. Do you know why I included you in my domain from the start?" Nalan Lan's heart sank. Was there a need to ask? Of course, it was to ensure that she would die here. You've tried to kill me so many times. Every time I wanted to kill you, you would escape. Today, it's either you die or I die. Sima Yue said, "But, I think you don't have to say the last sentence. Today will be the day you die. That's not up to you to decide. Maybe you don't know, but my physique counters dark spirit energy. When you meet me, your spirit energy is basically useless. You're right. Today, it's either you die or I die. But, the one who dies is you." Nalan Lan said confidently. If she was worried when she heard Sima Yue say that she was in her domain, now that she saw her using dark spirit energy, she was relieved. "I knew that dark spirit energy would be countered by your physique. So, I didn't plan to use my spirit energy to deal with you." Sima Yue said nonchalantly. "I found out that you're injured and can't use your spirit energy. Although your dark spirit energy surprised me, you can't use any other spirit energy. What can you do to me?" Nalan Lan said proudly. "You're just like your master. Your brain structure is different from others." Sima Yue said, "Who said that I lured you here to fight you alone? Babies, come out." When she finished speaking, all of Sima Yue's contracted beasts appeared beside her. "Nalan Lan, today I'll show you what a group fight is." Chapter 1260. The beasties hated this Nalan Lan to the core. Ever since the Dongchen kingdom, she had plotted against Sima Yue a few times. However, she managed to escape every single time. Please search, pin and book yen. Com, to see the most complete. Update the fastest. It had to be said that Nalan Lan's luck was extremely good every time. She was always able to escape from Sima Yue. This time, she was here again. Sima Yue did not intend to let her go. In order to prevent her from using any unknown methods to escape, Sima Yue activated her domain. Unless she could break through the domain, it would be impossible for her to escape. However, even if she had many ways to escape, it was impossible for her to break through the domain. Therefore, Sima Yue was at ease as she watched her beasts teach her a lesson. The beasts had a lot of resentment towards Nalan Lan. This time, they could finally deal with her. They must treat her well. Therefore, they beat her up for half an hour, even though they could have finished her in one move. However, Nalan Lan also had a lot of treasures on her. After beating her for half an hour, although she was half crippled, she didn't die. She just lay on the ground and didn't move. This lotus body is really resistant to beatings. He's still alive after being beaten for so long. Even my claws are hurting. His skin is really thick. Little Roar shook his claws, as if he was really in pain. Yes, it's true that I'm a little weak. Why don't we use more strength? Ye Guang suggested. Although he had turned into a man, his arms were wrapped in a layer of iron, which showed how strong he was. Do you have the nerve to say this now? The beasties stood beside Nalan Lan and talked nonsense with a serious face. Sima Yue's mouth was twitching. Nalan Lan's entire body was in pain. She had been forced to release all of the Dao characters that she had comprehended. In an instant, she had caught the beasts off guard and sent them flying. Oh my God, these golden words are so powerful. Little Seven exclaimed exaggeratedly. She patted her chest with a look of lingering fear. Although everyone was shocked, they didn't suffer any injuries. Nalan Lan crawled up from the ground and looked at the frightened spirit beasts. 3 golden words flew around her. Do you really think that I'm a sick cat if I don't show my might? Her face was filled with hatred. None of these beasts would survive after she killed Sima Yuyue. Golden word of enlightenment. TSK, it looks so powerful. Sima Yuyue said. Although your senior sister stole one of the characters, I still have 3. It's enough to deal with you. Nalan Lan said hatefully, but when she thought of killing Sima Yuyue, she could not suppress the excitement in her eyes. However, before her smile could widen, it froze completely. This was because she saw 12 golden words flying out of Sima Yuyue's body. Time is endless, space is endless, life is endless. How do you have Tao? She cried out in surprise. That's right. I've also comprehended my own Tao. Sima Yuyue smiled and said, and I'm sorry to say that the number of golden words I have is 3 times more than yours. Hence, I can still crush you in terms of numbers. Nalan Lan was so angry that she spat out a mouthful of blood. She kept screaming in her heart. Why? Why? Her spirit beasts were lying on the ground. All 3 of them were exhaling more than they were inhaling. However, Sima Yuyue's spirit beasts were crushing her in terms of numbers and power. Even now, the number of heaven Tao that she had comprehended was still less than hers. Sima Yuyue controlled the golden words to attack Nalan Lan. The Tao that was comprehended was different in terms of power. The closer it was to the heaven Tao, the stronger it was. It would also have a suppressive effect on other Taos. Hence, the golden words that came out to show off were crushed by Sima Yuyue's golden words. In the end, they slowly faded and disappeared. Space lock. With a single thought from Sima Yuyue, Nalan Lan felt as if the space around her had solidified. What did you do to me? Nalan Lan screamed. Sima Yuyue looked at Nalan Lan. The space slowly closed with her mind. She could even see Nalan Lan's body being squeezed out of shape by the space. Nalan Lan, although I hated you when we were young, we weren't that ugly. If you didn't plot against me and kill me time and time again, even if we weren't friends, we wouldn't have to kill each other. Sima Yuyue said, but there are no ifs. So today, you have to die. Kill me if you want. Even if you kill me, I won't let you go even as a ghost. Nalan Lan said with difficulty. Become a ghost? Sima Yuyue looked as if she suddenly realized something, saying, You've reminded me. I will definitely make you become a ghost. Then, under Nalan Lan's confused gaze, she took out the 100 ghost banner. She used her mind and a few ghosts came out. They circled around Nalan Lan before flying back. Did you see that? The 100 ghost banner will definitely fulfill your wish to become a ghost. Sima Yuyue said. You. Nalan Lan looked at Sima Yuyue and was speechless. She only felt that she couldn't swallow the anger in her heart and couldn't let it out. You don't have to be so you. You escaped so many times because you were lucky. Do you really think that I can't do anything to you? Everything that you are proud of, everything that you are good at, has been ruthlessly stepped on by me. How is it, doesn't it feel good? Sima Yuyue said. Ah, Nalan Lan screamed crazily. Why did she have to have Sima Yuyue to suppress her when she was so talented? She couldn't accept it. She couldn't accept it. What a strong aura of resentment. I wonder if you will become a ghost after you die. Sima Yuyue muttered. Then, she glanced at the beasts. Why aren't you moving further away? When the beasts heard her, they immediately retreated and quickly left the safe area. Although your soul will survive, you won't have any memories. Even if I catch you, you won't remember anything about us. So, goodbye forever. Sima Yuyue saw the panic in her eyes and smiled seductively. She said softly, explode. The space where Nalan Lan was at exploded and Nalan Lan's body turned into a rain of blood. A transparent shadow floated in that place. Sima Yue used the 100 ghost banner to keep her. I said that I would give you a chance to become a ghost and I gave you this chance. It's a pity that you can only be my slave forever. Sima Yue kept the 100 ghost banner with satisfaction. Then, she retracted her territory. You are so disgusting. Little Seven looked at the blood on the ground in disgust. Luckily, she was far away. Otherwise, she would have been stained. How am I disgusting? Didn't I remind you to stay away? Sima Yue rolled her eyes. I learned this from Chongming. If you want to say that I am disgusting, you can say that he is. She glanced at the blood on the ground. The grudge that had been entangled with her for decades was finally resolved today. From now on, there would be no woman called Nalan Lan who would come out to annoy her. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.